What up, what up? Welcome to Chip and Zay here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us on this December 19th, Friday, Football Friday, because even though Texas ain't in the college football playoffs, Texas is making the headlines around college football because, as we know, there's been a lot of changes in the last, 24 hours? Hell, the news broke when Chip and I were doing the show yesterday, and he had to take off to go get the inside scoop, which I'm excited to see what his take is on this situation. But yeah, again, appreciate y'all for rocking with us on this Friday. Like, subscribe. Y'all know how we do. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Instagram. We're everywhere, man. You know, it's popping. Texas Sports Unfiltered. It's popping. Football's popping. Baseball's coming up. Basketball season, men and women's. It's popping around here. And plenty more. We don't just talk Texas sports. We talk a little bit of everything mixed with all the Texas sports that we talk about. So yeah, just here having a good time and trying to dissect what's going on still. Steve Sarkeesian had a press conference today. It was about 30-something minutes, and obviously you got to talk about the news of Pete Kwiatkowski out, Will Muschamp in. So Sark talked about that, and he had some weird things to say. Can't even front. It was weird, you know. First off, Sark let it be known that when it came to Pete Kwiatkowski, there was a lot of babysitting. Is that the word? Let's bring Chip on, because Chip was in the building. He heard it. Let's bring my man Chip Brown on. What's up, dog?
Hey, what's going on? In the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. We're happy to spend some time with us, Chip and Zay. Full disclosure, I got a hot date with my wife, so I had to get a quick shower, you know.
Oh, wait a minute. Full disclosure, what? I mean, I appreciate y'all having a good time. That's beautiful. We love here on Chip and Zay, but you're talking about a hot shower and stuff. I don't know if our viewers want to hear.
Anyway, yeah, man, Sark today, really interesting stuff, I thought.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
I mean, he said that hiring Muschamp is a guy he could trust to be the head coach of the defense so he could spend a little more time on the offense.
Wow.
That if they need to call a timeout on defense, he doesn't have to be on the headset all the time. He could be over there with Arch or over there with Milwee or Coach Flood, he said. So Coach Flood ain't going nowhere. And yeah, he talked about how, you know, this, frees him up a little bit. I thought that was really interesting.
It's crazy.
I mean, really interesting. So the other thing I thought, or go ahead, Zay, you were going to say something.
Oh, how can he say that, man? Like, that's like, he's just straight up throwing Pete Kwiatkowski under the bus when it's like, dude, you got to take some ownership. Like, you're telling me, because when I hear that, Chip, I'm so worried about Pete Kwiatkowski. I got to babysit him that I got Nick freaking Brooks in the game screwing up like hell. I can't see that because I'm so wrapped up with this defense. Will Muschamp won't let me make the mistake by having Nick Brooks out there. I won't have that mistake. I won't think that, oh, maybe it would be smarter to have Connor Robinson and Cole Hudson as my left guard and center instead of Connor Stroh, Neto, Nick Brooks. So Will Muschamp, apparently, he said head coach of the defense. We had to babysit PK. We had to babysit. I couldn't focus on the offense. I just couldn't do it. Me and Kyle Flood, that's why Art struggled. That's why Ryan Wingo was dropping passes, because I'm locked in on this defense so much so I can't focus on what I do best, and that's call plays. That's what I heard at the press conference today.
Yeah, it was interesting to say the least. He talked about the timing, why he made this move now and not after the bowl game. He said, if I wait till after the bowl game, I've got, players all over the country and they're reading on Twitter how they have a new defensive coordinator, which I get. So he said, I wanted to do it now. And where I can talk to my players. I've still got my players. And Will Muschamp's already in the building. He's meeting with players. They're getting to know him. He's going to be a part of this team at the Citrus Bowl. Johnny Nanson's going to call the defense, but Will Muschamp will be with the team. He'll be right there. I'm sure he'll help do some coaching. That's Will Muschamp's way. He's no wallflower. And so, I thought that was important for people to know. Like, everyone was wondering, what's with this timing? And he said, we got the transfer portal opening on January 2nd. If I wait to make this move until January 1st or January 2nd, I not only have players all over the country because they've gone home for the break, but, they may be more of a flight risk, he called them. It could be more of a flight risk. So now he gets to have them meet Will Muschamp, get to know him. Of course, the first name he mentioned was, Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons gets to meet Will Muschamp. And I'm always intrigued by the names that get mentioned. He mentioned Grayson Littleton. He mentioned
Did he say Cade Phillips?
Cade Phillips, Alex January. So, yeah, Colin Simmons, Grayson Littleton, Cade Phillips, Alex January. And so, he talked about the timing of it. And then, he was asked, does this help you beat Georgia? Will Muschamp, he's been in there with Kirby, was the defensive coordinator in those national championship teams at Georgia in 21 and 22. And Sarkeesian basically said, if that's an unintended consequence, so be it. We're going to be going up against that defense, good on good in practice every day. Maybe that helps us the next time we come across Georgia. So, you could tell Steve Sarkeesian, Nick Saban had a lot to do with this hire, whether it was a phone call or just the fact he said that Nick Saban, every time he mentioned Will Muschamp, he could hear the respect, the reverence. He said in 2019, when Sarkeesian was the offensive coordinator at Alabama, they played South Carolina, and he said he could tell from the way Nick Saban was talking about Will Muschamp, the amount of respect he had. Of course, Muschamp was the defensive coordinator for Nick Saban at LSU when they won the national championship in 2003. So you could hear the excitement in Steve Sarkeesian's voice, couldn't you, Zay?
Yeah, a little bit. And, as much as I dislike the whole, I got to focus now on the offense. I couldn't focus on the offense before because Pete Kwiatkowski, blah, blah, blah. I appreciate taking Will Muschamp and understanding that he does have an inside scoop on Georgia. He was a big part of Georgia's success and reason why Kirby Smart is where he's at and that program is where it's at. Because you know how I feel about the Steve Sarkeesian Kirby Smart relationship. He ain't your friend, Steve. This is what I'm talking about. This is how you get some payback. Cool. Let's weaken them a little bit. Let's bring in one of Kirby's top dogs and have him run the show for us. And again, it's not like he's unfamiliar with the territory. He's been on the 40 acres before. Emmanuel Acho made a video yesterday, Chip. That dude was talking about he's about to cry. That's how excited he was because Will Muschamp changed his life that much. Like, just dogs he coached. Texas fans remember Sergio Kendall. Like, what? He was moving Sergio Kendall around. Sergio Kendall went on the line. Sergio Kendall was the man when that happened. Like, he figures things out. And I hate that Pete Kwiatkowski is going out like this. Because Pete Kwiatkowski, I didn't think Pete Kwiatkowski deserved to get fired.
Right.
I didn't think that. And that's why it just really grinds my gears with how Sark talked about basically he had to babysit him. And now he's allowed to just focus on the offense. And it's like, oh, nah, man. Not the way this offense looked, the way that Kyle Flood's offensive line looked. I'd rather you not say that. But I understand the move. I get it. It's a type of defense that you need in the conference. And that bend but don't break defense, it's only gotten you so far. And you and I, we bring up those moments where you vividly remember just completely blowing assignments in the biggest moments. Like the Ohio State game, we've talked about that. We probably talk about that once a week just because the PTSD on that one is so brutal. But yeah, like Steve Sarkeesian, they make some big time moves right here. And yeah, Will Muschamp, that dude could coach. He could coach some defense. And I said it yesterday, you don't got to be a good head coach to be a really good coordinator. Like, I love Rodney Terry. I love him. I hope he gets another shot as a head coach, but I know Rodney Terry is a really good assistant. Head coach, still got a lot to prove. It is what it is. So,
yeah. Well, this, the enemy of good, the enemy of great is good. And Steve Sarkeesian needs to get his offense in order. And I agree with you. He didn't need to be saying this allows me to, spend more time on with the off. Like, come on. How about hiring some people on offense that you trust?
Oh my God.
Get your offense right.
Did him and PK get into a fight? What was that mean? Like, it must have, that's cold, man. That's cold.
Well, and I don't think, PK is so, he's such a decent guy. He's so not about creating drama. I'm sure Steve Sarkeesian said, hey, PK, man, you've done a great job. I'm really sorry. I just feel like I have to make this move to take the next step, and you're going to get the remaining amount on your contract. I know you'll get another job. I just feel like I got to make this move. And then you obviously didn't work with Dwayne Aquina. You make that move. And then today you come out and you say, I just feel like I needed to make this move because of all the success that Will Muschamp has had in the SEC.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all we needed to hear.
He won a national championship at LSU with Nick Saban. He won 2 national championships with Kirby Smart at Georgia. And I feel like I just had to make this move because of the success that Will Muschamp has had in the SEC. And I thank everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think he's discredited Pete Kwiatkowski. I think that's really disrespectful. Like, I joke about this. I think what he said was really disrespectful because it makes it seem like Pete Kwiatkowski and how he praised Will Muschamp. Like, you're the head coach of the defense. He said that multiple times, Chip. You were in the room. You're the head coach of the defense. I couldn't give that power to Pete Kwiatkowski because I didn't trust his ass. That's what we hear. That's what I hear. Y'all think I'm just being petty and messy. I don't really think I am. I think that's straight up. If I'm Pete Kwiatkowski, I might not talk to Steve Sarkeesian ever again. Because it's not like Pete Kwiatkowski, it's not like the defenses were horrible.
Right.
Like, we got John A. Barron, the Thorpe Award. We got walk-on, slow-ass, non-athletic Michael Taft into an All-American and back-to-back college football playoffs. He didn't deserve to get dragged through the mud like he did today in that press conference, man. He didn't. That's dragged through the mud. That was cold. And he multiple times. He said that multiple times. Oh, I have to go over. I got the headset on the whole game. I can't focus. Like, he didn't say that, but that's what I mean. Like, you can't focus. You got the head. Like, take it off then. What you got the take the headset off then? Okay, you straight up don't trust him. Cool. But man, I think Pete Kwiatkowski deserves way more credit than how Steve Sarkeesian made him look today.
Well, and even more than that, it's okay. If that was his attempt, if that was Steve Sarkeesian's attempt to tell us that the offense is going to get fixed now, okay, fix it. If that's how you're going to explain to us with Chad Scott as the guy who's getting let go here and not Kyle Flood, okay, then fix it. Fix this offense. Do what you got to do, because we don't need to be having these conversations anymore. You've replaced a really solid defensive coordinator who gave up less than 20 points per season, 20 points per game in each of the last 3 seasons, and had you a championship defense in 23 and 24, a little more in 24 than it was in 23, because the pass defense was so much better in 24. But that was a national championship team in 24. And we can talk about what happened at the end of the first half. We can talk about what happened at the end of the game. There's equal blame to go around, but you had first and goal from the 1 and came away with a strip sack touchdown, pick 6 for Ohio State. So, yay, this is big boy football. This is big boy business. And we talked last week about how I was hearing they're going all in for a run in 2026. And this is part of that, I was told last night. And again, thanks to Patrick Davis for jumping in. Because that kudos to Texas. They kept that thing under wraps. I was sniffing around on the offensive side for stuff going on in Whammo.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, okay, what's the deal? And I was told this is an all-in move, So, okay. I'm not mad. I think it's bold. And Steve Sarkeesian's done a good job of being transparent with his players, and he's talking about that right now. So let's see how they take to it. He's still got guys who are, figuring out stay or go decisions. And so who knows? But this is, I don't know what kind of shape they're going to be in for the Citrus Bowl, but
65 scholarships. Yikes. Like, you playing some walk-ons in this one.
Marshall Landwehr, this could be the game of your life, baby. This could be the game of your life at linebacker.
Yeah.
I hope he gets in there and balls out.
I like Marshall Landwehr. He earned every bit of that scholarship this season with his work on special teams. Everybody's going to remember Ryan Niblett's punt returns. Yeah, we remember that, but I remember Marshall Landwehr getting in there, making some big-time blocks to make those punt returns happen. So that dude, he earned all of that scholarship money. And, throw him out there. You got nothing to lose. We get in the brand new defense anyway.
Thanks for the super chat, Magic Man. Magic Man says, if this doesn't work out, Sark gone, all in move. I don't, he's still probably got one more move left, which would be to hire an offensive coordinator. But this is an all-in move. This is an all-in move.
Yeah.
And
And I see Rex over here like, man, y'all need to worry about y'all sources and not have feelings. I love you, Rex. You know I do, bro. What Sark said about Pete Kwiatkowski today was cold. It is. It's cold as hell. It's cold as hell. It ain't about having feelings there. I know when something's cold or not. It don't affect me. It clearly. I'm still going to talk my talk at 2 o'clock every day. But I'm going to acknowledge that it's cold. But I also can acknowledge, too, that Muschamp is a good hire. And, hey, feel like this is what it means to go all in. I can't be mad at making moves to try to get to that because it hasn't been good enough. So did I think that PK was the problem? No. I thought some things might have been tweaked. You know what I'm saying? Hey, just scoot up, guys. That's easy. Isn't that easy? Why are we 15 yards back? It is 3rd and 15. Why are my corners 15 yards back? All we got to do is say, scoot up. Bam, solved. Right, like that's what I'm thinking. Like solved right there. Scoot the hell up. You know what I mean? Offensive line. It was a circus all year long. A circus. And again, it wasn't like Cole Hudson and my man Collier Robinson were great. They're all right. They right, you know, they were better.
Yeah, Texas wasn't in any Joe Moore Award discussions this year.
Hell no. Shoes, maybe Randy Moore Award.
Whoa.
But Joe, no, they weren't sniffing Joe. Not at all.
Not at all.
Yeah, that's you know, Kyle Flood, ouch. He wiping the sweat off his brow because now I guess anybody could get it. If Pete Kwiatkowski's getting got, anybody could get it.
Well, and Kwiatkowski's gonna get other job offers. You know, I mean, it is. And look, when you're trying to get over the hump in the SEC, then what a great situation to be in. I talk about it all the time. Alignment. You got to have the support from the top down. You got to have the support from the tower to Chris Del Conte. And when you have that, you have the resources to make moves like this. And that's, enjoy this, Texas fans, because this is when good things happen.
Yeah. When
you have alignment, you know, and you're getting that support financially, you're getting the resources you need, you got a shot. I mean, look at Texas Tech and what Cody Campbell's doing out there. You know, this is going to be, we're in a fascinating time. There's no doubt about it. It's the Wild West. It's crazy. It's really hard. These jobs have gotten a lot harder for the coach because of all the uncertainty and the fact that you really don't ever get days off. It can wear you out. I saw one comment in there today saying Sark looked exhausted. Yeah, man. He's doing roster retention. He's in the portal. He's trying to figure out what other moves need to be made. But you can tell this one took a toll.
Oh, yeah.
This one took a toll. Anytime you're changing out guys in your foxhole, that takes a toll. So this is a big moment.
Yeah. What do you remember? What do you remember about Will Muschamp and just covering him and the team during that time?
Yeah, the intensity. You know, the intensity. I've had some people describe it as perpetual anger, but it's his intensity. I mean, it is. I always worried, is this guy I hope he doesn't have any blood pressure problems, because we got to get him on the human super beats. You know what I mean? Get some of that. Make sure that blood pressure is doing just great.
Solid plug right there.
Go to
A1
Humann
plugin.
with 2ns.com/TSU and load up on these so that you don't have any blood pressure issues. But yeah, man, it was so intense. And, I was talking to Aaron Williams, and he was in that huddle when, Muschamp smashed the whiteboard and it snapped and cut him. And he's bleeding down his cheek and he's still just talking. Like the guys are watching the blood trickle down his face and Muschamp's. And, Aaron told me, he said he was pissed because he had just explained something and someone didn't get it. And he doesn't like having to explain something twice. And so, you're going to pay attention. You're going to be accountable. You're going to rise to his level of intensity and detail.
No.
And that's why I said, if Will Muschamp is dialed in, if he's still got that fire, because he did take a break, and Sark mentioned it today. His son Whit is now a sophomore at Vanderbilt, backup quarterback, and you could tell that Sarkeesian, he was asked, was Will your first choice when you got hired at Texas? And he didn't just come out and say yes, but he did talk about how Will at that time was wanting to spend time with his son, who was still in high school, and that the timing is now right. So there was definitely a gauging. Sark went to Will to see, hey, what do you think? And Will was like, timing's not right. And so if Will Muschamp is dialed in, and I'm sure he is, because he really only knows one way to coach, and that is with that fire and intensity. I mean, they are polar opposites in terms of personality, polar opposites. But the thing that, some of his former players told me is that he also gets to know you on a personal level. It's not just all football. It's not just, how could you do that? It's, hey man, how's your sick aunt? How's everything, And so that's why the guys will go through a wall for him. And I'll tell you this, that defense in 08 and 09, those defenses were as confident. They absolutely believed they could beat anybody. And I've said it a million times, they should have played for the national championship in 08. That tiebreaker that screwed them after they beat OU by 10, and OU gets to go to the Big 12 title game, and then OU plays for the
Florida.
For the national championship. I mean, Texas, that would have been a hell of a game too, because of that Texas defense and all that. But and that was the season that Colt blew everyone away. That's the season he set the record. My God, he was completed 55% of his passes on 3rd and 7 or longer that year. I mean, it was
Colt.
He was cold blooded. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Aquina, he's not getting talked about much with, these changes for obvious reasons, but kind of on the same level as Will Muschamp, because I heard from sources that Dwayne Aquina, it wasn't even close to what he was able to do at DBU. And I think that's because just the era of player is a lot different. Back then, you told them, hey, do this, it gets done. They do it, no questions asked. Now they want to, understand why they're doing this. There's always a why, and some coaches can't adapt to that. So Muschamp, will he be able to adapt to this new era where kids are painting their nails and doing TikToks and dancing? I don't think Sergio Kindle was painting his nails, Chip. I'm just saying, the ones that do that, there's probably some tough ass kids that are painting their nails out here that are getting 15 tackles a game, whatever. But I'm just saying, kids are different nowadays. So for the defensive head coach, because that's what I'm calling him now. That's it. That's his title. He's not a defensive coordinator. This is the defensive head coach of the University of Texas. I heard it way too many times today. Will he be able to relate? Taking time off. We know as a head coach, it wasn't it. Florida, South Carolina, just wasn't it. But as a coordinator, all right, you one of them ones. Highly respected. You were just talking about the GOAT, Saban, speaks highly of him. So that's the only thing that I'm like, okay, intense, fiery. As a defensive coordinator, you need that. But also, these kids get offended real quick. They start calling the agent. They butt hurt, and now they in the portal, which you shouldn't want those kids anyway. But still, that causes conflict with your team.
Yeah. Yeah. And Muschamp is going to oversee the secondary, which is something he was a safety. He played safety. He was a walk-on who became a captain at Georgia. And the other thing that's interesting is Mark Orfe was a GA for Will Muschamp at South Carolina.
Small world.
So they know each other. They're familiar. They're comfortable. So as of right now, you don't have to make another hire right now. You can kind of size it up, see what you think, and go from there. So
because clearly they're keeping Alan Clark, Kenny Baker, Johnny Nanson's calling the plays in the Citrus Bowl. You just mentioned Mark Orfe. I don't know about Hudson, Nichols' coach, Canelo Hudson. But did you hear about any talks of Muschamp saying, okay, Sark, the guys that you got right now, cool, but I got some guys in line that will help things run a little smoother, because he is the head coach of the defense. So was Muschamp just all right with what he's coming into? Or was he just like, nah, Dwayne Akita, he could go. Everybody else, I'm good with that.
Well, I think the fact that Akina got let go, there is a space. There's a spot for, if Muschamp, wants to bring someone in, he can bring someone in. And so I think we'll have to see how that develops. But yeah, I mean, that's something that you have to pay attention to, because you can have unlimited coaches. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
This also makes the Leonga-Lafau transfer make a lot more sense, because I'm sure during those exit meetings, at least I would hope, I really don't know, but I would hope that Pete Kwiatkowski probably won't be here next year. So if Leonga-Lafau and Pete Kwiatkowski are close, and all right, what's the point of me even being here? Even though I've been at Texas for how many years? Like we don't know, but I'm just saying.
I think the Leonga-Lafau situation was more about, hey, I've got some other interests coming my way, and I think Texas was like, you know what? Good for you. I don't think Texas was ready to go up in NIL at that position. So, I think that was a move where they looked at the cap and said, you know what? Good for you. You've earned that. Go get it. And we'll work with what we've got and look at what's in the portal and go from there. So, yeah, I mean, everyone thinks that Texas just spends unlimited money, and they don't. They try to run it like an NFL team. They have this amount of money set aside for that position, and then they got to make it work.
Okay, yeah, speaking of that, because reports came out that Arch Manning is taking less money. I didn't think he was a part of.
Right. He's not.
Yeah, what was that?
I don't know. I'm like, yeah, maybe you're not, Arch is doing just fine on his own.
That's what I'm saying. Warby Parker, them glasses look cool. Like
Warby, Waymo.
Yeah, like, come on.
Fiore,
Yeah,
Red Bull. Yeah.
Why? Yeah, which Arch, that's what I'm saying. It should be known that Arch has been doing that.
That's right.
Like, he's been not just this year, his whole from freshman year to now.
Right.
Like he hasn't taken a dime out of what Texas has going on when it comes to NIL. That doesn't mean Red Bull ain't coming calling and Waymo and Warby Parker, but as far as what Texas has going on, Arch ain't touching that. He's letting everybody else eat.
Yeah.
So I don't know who came out with that reporting. I try to honor every journalist. It's a hard gig, but come on, man. We gotta do better. We gotta do better because that just, yeah.
Well, do you have the Emmanuel Acho?
I can get it.
Because I didn't see that. I'd like to see it.
Oh yeah. Emmanuel Acho was turned up.
We're supposed to get Lance Taylor at some point here before we get to John McClain.
Lance isn't going to Norman, right?
He is not.
Good move.
Yeah, we moved Lance around. He actually needed to move to Friday, so hopefully we get him here for a minute or two, but I'd be curious to see what old Acho.
Lance might be hurting from last night's game, man. That was a heartbreaker for them Rams. That was,
oh my gosh. So we had a bunch of family come in. It was a crazy night last night. We had a bunch of family come in. So the last I looked, the Rams were up like 2 touchdowns.
Man.
What happened?
The play of the game. So it's 30-22. Seahawks score 30-28. They go for 2. Sam Darnold drops back to throw a check down, but it was a backwards pass. Verse, what's my man's name?
Jared Verse.
Jared Verse. He knocks it down. Backwards pass, fumble instead of incompletion. It rolls in the end zone. Everybody thinks it's a dead ball except for Charbonnet. He lollygags over to the ball and just nonchalantly picks it up in the end zone. Touchdown. They don't call it then. They go and review it. Herb Streak and Michaels are talking about it, and that's what the guy's saying. Whoever's in New York, the main ref that they got in New York, when they do the reviews and stuff, he's over here talking about, yeah, that's 2-point conversion right there. It's about to be a tie ball game. These fans, Al Michaels, these fans are about to go nuts. And sure enough, that's what happened. And Sean McVay, he's smiling and shaking his head are you freaking kidding me? What kind of luck is that? Because Stafford and Puka Nacua were killing, boy. And, yeah, they were up. And then all of a sudden, that Rams offense, 4 out of the last 5 drives ended in no points. And they just got kind of stuck there. And, yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. And then shout out to Mike McDonald, goes for 2 after they scored in overtime and converted that thing, ended up winning. Got some balls, man, for
that's amazing.
Number 1 in the NFC. Huge game.
Man.
Yeah. So Lance, he might.
He might be
hurting. He might be hurting.
hurting.
Yeah, that was a tough one.
You got the Iacho thing?
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay. Yeah, Rodney says, yo, Chip, it was kind of impressive to watch you transform to journalist, Chip, when the news dropped yesterday. Yeah, that was like, okay. So, again, thanks to Patrick for jumping in because obviously I was on the horn.
Yeah. Yo, I don't know if you heard our conversation with Drew Fabianis yesterday. Drew was very opinionated on the Chad Scott move because
he was with it.
Drew said, so we're firing coaches for players now, talking about Jabbar Jalouk and hopefully getting Jaden Ball with it, which I get Drew saying that. I get it. He has every right to say that because I'm sure it's going around. But, yeah, he was like, Chad Scott is a terrific coach. For him to get the bullet, yeah, so that made me think a little bit. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, and, different strokes for different folks. Tashard Choice is a tough act to follow, I'm telling you. And that had a lot to do with this. And that kind of personality, and maybe Sark didn't quite realize that he was going to have a personality similar to Tashard Choice.
Yeah. How could he realize it, Chip? He's got the headset on for the defense. He's worried about that. Oh, we gonna have fun with that. We gonna have fun with that, man.
Zay is feeling it.
He's worried about the defense. He's over there talking to Pete Kwiatkowski all the time. How could he see it?
Yeah.
All right, I got the Emmanuel Acho.
All right, so this is Emmanuel Acho talking about Will Muschamp coming back as defensive coordinator because, of course, Iacho overlapped with Will Muschamp.
Yo, I'm about to cry in public. Will Muschamp back at Texas. This is a game changer. Will Muschamp is the greatest teacher of defensive football I have ever been around. I had Will Muschamp my freshman, sophomore, and junior year at Texas. I think we had the number 3 overall defense, the number 5 overall defense, like the number 3 overall defense. It was us, it was Bama, it was Florida. Will Muschamp understands defensive football, I would suggest, greater than any mind in the collegiate game. Remember, Muschamp was the co-defensive coordinator for those back-to-back Georgia defensive teams that won national championships over the last 4 or 5 years. Will Muschamp coaches with a tenacity and an attention to detail that you do not find. It is an uncommon passion for the game of football. Texas, this isn't good news. This might be the greatest news in the last 3-4 years. Signing Will Muschamp is better than any recruit because Will Muschamp can turn a 3-star recruit high into an NFL draft pick. Will Muschamp can turn a 5-star recruit into a top 10 pick. Will Muschamp ain't nothing like him, bruh. He's crazy. He's a crazy man. But ain't nothing like him, bruh. That's my man. And he needs to call me back. Champ, if you're watching this, I swear you better call me back.
I bet he was a little busy, Iacho. But, Iacho said that he called him back. So, yeah.
I mean, those guys love him. And he's his acquired taste. Coach Boom.
Coach Boom. That's a name right there. That's a fire name. I like that. Coach Boom. Yeah. I don't know if he's going to be punching whiteboards and slamming clipboards.
I bet he learned.
He ain't that same whippersnapper that he was. I was, 08. 08 feels like yesterday. It ain't yesterday.
No.
It's almost 20 years, man.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool, though. That's cool.
Yeah.
Because, these guys are fired up about him. The guys who played for him. So that tells you a lot. And look, Roy Miller, who played for Muschamp in 08, went on to the NFL, had a good career. All right, there he is, Lance Taylor, lanceslock.com for a few minutes. LT, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. I am so sorry, guys. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the great organization that is Folds of Honor.
Yeah.
We're doing a shopping spree for a family today, and I cannot find the location I'm at. And so I've been on the phone trying to figure this thing out. But anyway, I am late to you guys, and I do apologize because I always feel like I am so scattered when I talk to you guys. But happy holidays, and I am very, very sorry that I am late.
Well, what'd you think of Steve Sarkeesian hiring Will Muschamp?
Boy, I was asked today, was the defense that bad? And, from where it was early in the season to where it got, and I thought they played well against A&M, but I did not see Will Muschamp. I mean, is there a connection? I guess, were they analysts together on Saban's staff?
No.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, where is the link outside of Muschamp was, the coach in waiting at one particular time for Mac Brown, and I don't know. I thought it was a weird hire, but where are Texas fans on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a level of excitement. I think his Sarkeesian's respect for Muschamp comes from Sarkeesian's time with Saban, and the fact that Muschamp, was the DC on that 03 LSU national championship team. And Sarkeesian said today, this is a guy who has won at the highest level in the SEC, and that's where we need to go. So this is a trying to go from good to great hire.
Yeah, I mean, look, you guys have heard, some people make really good colonels, not necessarily great generals, and Will Muschamp's hell of a defensive coordinator. I don't think Will Muschamp was the best head coach in the world, but not a lot of people are. So look, guy knows defense, and I don't understand what happened to Texas's defense this year, because it does seem like they fell off a cliff.
Yeah. They had some injuries, but you can't fall off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, really, I would equate where Texas's defense went was kind of like where Alabama's offense went. I know we'll get to that game in a minute, but there's injuries, but everybody's banged up at this particular point. So you can say, hey, this guy, that guy, but at the end of the day, your twos are supposed to be better than 90% of the ones out there.
Right.
Yeah, Lance, Bama tonight, Bama and Oklahoma. It's kind of 50-50 for a lot of people on this game, and both teams' offenses know they're struggling. Which defense is going to make enough plays? Which offense is going to make enough plays? Where's DeBoer's head at with all the Michigan news? Your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, it's tough games, and it opened Alabama 1.5, and it's flipped back to Oklahoma 1.5. And if you go through all the categories, and I threw 5 up today, offense, I still give Alabama the advantage. I mean, Oklahoma's offense has been broken all year. Defense, Oklahoma. Special teams, Oklahoma. Head coach, Alabama. And starting quarterback, I would go Ty Simpson. I thought Material was going to be so good coming to the SEC. And whether it's his thumb or not, there's just something off with Material, and there's something totally off with this offense. But for whatever reason, Alabama against Oklahoma the last couple of years, they lost 28-3 in Norman last year under DeBoer, and that was with Jalen Milroe. And then this year, they look like the much better team in Tuscaloosa, losing 23-21, but they were -3 in turnovers. So Alabama's got to figure out a way to protect Ty Simpson and not turn the football over. But it's just strange how much they have really struggled against Brent Venables' defenses.
Well, when you look at Ty Simpson, I mean, how broken, how beat up is this guy? Because it seems like the offense started to, go down when his body started to fight back.
Well, Cam Newberry, Texas A&M transfer on that offensive line, he's been hurt the last couple of games. Parker Brailsford, your starting center, one of the best in college football. He's got a bum ankle, and it's been like that for weeks. So I think the offensive lines have been hurting. Ryan Williams has completely disappeared. His second go-to behind Jeremy Bernard, Josh Cuevas, the tight end, has been out the last couple of games. I'm hearing Bernard's not 100% healthy. Ty's got a back issue that either he got it against Missouri or South Carolina. So there's a lot of things that go into it. I don't want to say it's the confidence of Ty. I don't want to say it's the play calling, because Ryan Grubb has kind of been calling plays with one hand tied behind his back because Alabama can't run the football. Look, that's on the coaching staff. They don't have an explosive guy back there. Jam Miller and Daniel Hill are doing what they can, but the fact of the matter is they're 117th nationally running the football, and against the 5th overall rush defense in Oklahoma, that's not going to change tonight. I mean, this is going to be on Ty Simpson. He threw for over 300 yards earlier this year against Oklahoma. So he's going to have to find that magic again if Alabama's going to be able to win this game. And I think a lot of it has been the offensive line has not protected him. 3 straight games that they've given up 3+ sacks in all 3 of those games. And now you're going against Mason Thomas is healthy this time around for Oklahoma, who's obviously their best pass rush, got 6.5 sacks on the season. I would say that Alabama in this spot, if Oklahoma had a semblance of an offense, I wouldn't think Alabama really had a shot to win this game tonight. But again, both offenses are so broken, it's really an evenly matched game.
Yeah. Lance, Kalen DeBoer came out and had his reassurance presser where he basically said, I'm sticking with Alabama. Alabama's all I'm focused on. And I don't know what that means. You can't really trust anybody in the biz, but also has any steam picked up with the Michigan news and Kalen DeBoer?
Zay, it's a fair question based on this. I have heard that there is a contract on Kalen DeBoer's desk. I don't know how legitimate that is, but it hasn't been signed. And if you truly want this to go away, it's pretty simple. I am not going to be the head coach at Michigan. I will be back in 2026. He was pressed a little bit. Will you be the coach next year? And he said, yeah. I do believe Kalen DeBoer had his word that he hasn't had any discussions with Michigan. Do I believe that his representation hasn't? No, I think there is definitely a flirtation. I think Michigan wants him. To me, I think Michigan is sitting there hoping Alabama loses tonight. Then they will try to make him an offer he can't refuse. I think that offer would be easier for DeBoer, back-to-back 4-loss seasons, when the last time Alabama lost 4 games in a season before Kalen DeBoer was Nick Saban's first season back in 2007. So this is, uncharted territory for a lot of Alabama fans. I think it shows you that Alabama fans are spoiled, not their fault. Nick Saban was just that good. I think it will be a long, long winter, though. If DeBoer loses tonight, it will feel like, to me, that they didn't even make the college football playoffs. To go 10-4, the way this season kind of fell apart in November against Oklahoma, they barely get by a really bad Auburn team. They get destroyed against Georgia. And then if they were to lose to a very, very one-dimensional defensive Oklahoma team, I think it would make things easier for DeBoer to leave. I don't think he will. My personal opinion, I think it would be a terrible look for him to take that job. I think there's some dysfunction with that job right now. Chip, I know you're a Michigan fan, but I think you would agree. Seems like there's always some kind of controversy or scandal hovering. I think right now Alabama is the better job. Obviously, those are 2 of the top 5 jobs in college football. I just don't know why he would take this. Now, I have heard that, his wife and family are very happy in Tuscaloosa, but I have heard that somebody around his camp did, make the suggestion that it is easier to at least get to a college football playoff and win a championship when you're Michigan, because the Big Ten is not as deep as the SEC. That is factual. But let's also not forget that the best job will never be Michigan in the Big Ten. That's always going to be Ohio State. You can make an argument that Alabama, along with Texas and Georgia and LSU, is the best job in the SEC. So we'll see what happens here. I think the door is completely shut if Alabama beats Oklahoma, and then they're playing January 1 in the Rose Bowl against number 1 seed Indiana. At that point, I think both sides, maybe we somehow won a championship. And I think Michigan, time-wise, just couldn't afford that. So I think this is their one shot. If DeBoer loses tonight, they'll make a run at him. I don't think they'll get him. They could. And if they don't get him, Jed Fish, Kenny Dillingham, one of these, Jesse Mentor, one of these other names will pop up.
Yeah, Kenny Dillingham, they're wearing him out on these questions. He's having to answer it every day.
Well, I can't believe he's in the mix, but, to Arizona State's, I don't know what, like Kenny Dillingham's such a fit for those guys, and he's asked for certain things. And if you're not going to give him those certain things, then I don't blame him from not signing a contract and looking at these other jobs. So if Arizona State really wanted to lock him down, they could. And obviously, man, if you get an opportunity to take Michigan, even if you're an Arizona State guy, you got to bolt.
Any, give me your first round thoughts here. Any surprises?
I don't know, Chip. The problem is we got these damn group fives in it. And look, it's a great story for those guys and those players, and they'll be able to tell their kids and grandkids. But, we were talking about this the other day, and you guys have probably gotten into this. If we didn't have this group 5 tie, more than likely, I think it would be Texas playing at Oregon and Notre Dame playing at Ole Miss. And just imagine how good these first round games would be. And last year we go back to the first round, and it was fun because we'd never seen the 12 teams. College football playoff format. We had never seen teams on campus. But last year, 4-0 for the home teams. They won by an average of 19 points per game. These 4 home teams hosting are 27-2 overall at home this year. I do think tonight's game and tomorrow morning's game between A&M and Miami are going to be really good, but Tulane, Ole Miss is going to be another bloodbath. JMU, Oregon should be a bloodbath. And then once we get past this first round, then I think we got some really, really good matchups at that point. But I don't expect anything crazy in this first round. Win or lose, Alabama, Oklahoma should be a 1-possession game, and the same with Miami and Texas A&M tomorrow.
Well, tell everyone what's going on at lanceslock.com.
Yeah, we're winning. Unfortunately, one of the worst, it was one of my top 3 worst losses as a fan of the Los Angeles Rams last night. I just cannot believe it. Was absolutely brutal, guys. I went straight. Like normally, and I hate to say this is a bad reflection upon myself, but it's just factual. I would have broken something in the past. I gave my son a hug. I said, I'm going to bed, buddy. And I went and I took a 10 milligram indica gummy. And I tried to go to sleep, and I just tossed and turned all night because to me, they're the best team in the world. They really are. And I'm not saying that. I think if you've watched them, they are the best team in football. Over 500 yards of offense in Lumen. Yeah, they're up 16 with 8 and change left. I mean, Seattle has a punt return. They convert 3 consecutive 2-point conversions. Like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. And now we go from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. And playing in the NFC, it's almost impossible to go on the road in the wild card round, then the divisional round, then the championship round just to get to a Super Bowl. So very, very brutal loss. On top of that, I had Seattle minus 1.5 for my subscribers. So not only did the Rams lose, Seattle didn't cover. They win by 1. But outside of that, last weekend, I go back to it. We were 9-0 in football. We were 7-0 in the NFL. We've been killing it this year. We're already 2-1 in the bowl season. We've got a game going right now in the bowls. We've got tonight's side up between Alabama and Oklahoma. We've got 2 sides in the college football playoffs tomorrow. We've also got a side and a total in the NFL, 2 games tomorrow. It's all up and available, free play every single day. You can get a daily package. You can get our entire bowl package for $150 that takes you through national championship January 19th, or you can buy a monthly package for $100. All available, lanceslog.com.
Appreciate you, LT. Merry Christmas, my man.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. You guys let me know your schedule next week. I'll be there. I apologize for this, but it's for a great cause. That's all I can say.
Do your thing. I'll call you. Maybe Monday we'll pop you on.
Okay. I would love to. Love you guys. See y'all.
All right, buddy. All right. Let's bring in the general, the man they call Mad Dog McClain. He is in the Pro Football Hall of Fame for his coverage of the NFL. John McClain. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. By the way, if the 49ers win out, they're going to end up in home field advantage. Hard to believe. Those 3 teams could all end up with the same record. When I saw the Texans beat the hell out of the 49ers here, I thought they were going to have a tough road to hoe just making the playoffs. And, Kyle Shanahan's done a great coaching job. There are some tremendous coaching jobs. Mike Vrabel at New England. Liam Cohen, Jacksonville. Ben Johnson has done a great job at Chicago. Sean Payton's done a great job at Denver. Mike McDonald. And if indeed the Rams, who I still think are the best team, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, it's going to be because their special teams in their secondary. And they were both exposed last night in the game of the year. And I think if the road to the Super Bowl does end up going through Seattle and the Rams play them again, I don't see the Seahawks beating them again.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point, John, that you've got these blinding great coaching jobs going on, Ben Johnson and Vrabel, but then you've got, Kyle Shanahan got the 49ers back where they could be the number one seed. I mean, that Kyle Shanahan, that guy, he just keeps going.
But he hasn't won a Super Bowl, and that'll be his goal, of course, always has been. His daddy won 2 at Denver, but Kyle is a great coach, and he has overcome debilitating injuries on defense, not to mention players they let go in free agency because of the salary cap. It just shows if you have a great coach, and now they don't have a great quarterback, of course, but if you have a great coach, and usually if you have a great quarterback, you can overcome anything. That's why going into the playoffs, the Rams have a great coach in Sean McVay and a great quarterback in Matthew Stafford. Buffalo has a great quarterback, but nobody ever calls Sean McDermott a great head coach. So I can't wait to the playoff game tonight. Let me ask you guys something. Tell me, number one, who you're picking tonight, but I'm amazed at all the national guys who are picking Miami to go to Kyle Field and win that game tomorrow. Do you guys think Miami is going to win? I do not. I think the Eagles will bounce back, but what do y'all think?
I don't trust Mario Cristobal. I watched every second of the Miami-Louisville game, and Miami should have run the ball down their throat. They didn't. They kept throwing the ball. Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions, and they lost. And I'm sitting there going, you got the best offensive line or one of the best. A&M also has a very good offensive line. So let's see who can run the ball, because I'm hearing Le'Veon Moss is going to play for A&M. And if Le'Veon Moss plays, they seem to be a different team when he plays. I'm picking A&M to win that game. I don't trust Mario Cristobal. I think Miami has the talent to win the game. I just don't think they will. Now, the fact that it's at 11 a.m., John, and not at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock at night when Kyle Field looks like it's going to, cave in on you as a visiting team, that helps. But, Kyle Field will still be rocking. What do you think, Zay?
Yeah, I'm just a hater, John. I am hoping that Miami wins. I am picking Miami to win because I just can't stand A&M.
Well, that's the best reason to pick against a team, because you don't like them.
yeah.
What you guys got tonight?
Now, tonight, I just keep thinking, is Kalen DeBoer, surely he's not going to lose to these fools twice. I'm just picking. I know it's a tough place to play, but hell, Lane Kiffin went in there and won. So, and I know that Alabama physically is not right, but I'm going to go with Alabama.
Yep. Same on that one, John. Straight hate watching. Gotta go.
All 3 of us are taking Alabama over OU. Tell me something else. I know you guys want to talk about the NFL, but about the coaching changes that Sark has made. What do you think about him?
Well, I think he's trying to take it to the next level. Will Muschamp's a guy who's won, he's coordinated defenses on 3 national championship teams that were all SEC teams, LSU in 2003 with Saban and then 21 and 22 with Kirby at Georgia. And I think Sark saw an opportunity and, he said today, this is where we got to go. We got to get it done in the SEC, and this guy has done it. So it's a ballsy move to try to go from good to great, but I think that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, John Sark called Will Muschamp his defensive head coach and basically gave him the keys to that. And that means to me, offensively, they're going to put up a lot of points because now Sark doesn't have to worry about the defense. So everyone wins.
Well, I tell you, I slept a whole lot better when I saw that Arch is going to take a pay cut, which, of course, is preposterous. You can still be paid by a collective. Plus, you got all these national endorsements. We see him making money from national products. So, yeah, he doesn't have to take his cut out of the, how much is it, $20.5 million? Because he's still going to make more than anybody. But it amazes me. The way Tom Brady, they always said, Tom is giving it up for the team. He's only going to make $20 million this year, so they'll have money left for free agents, forgetting that his wife made $80 million a year at the time, and the fact all the endorsements he had. And plus, they kept giving him signing bonus money up front to redo his contract. So it's good, though, and I can't wait to see what quarterbacks stay. Ty Simpson should stay. Dante Moore should stay. But, boy, next year with Arch and Julian Sayed, it's going to be Lenora Stellers. Next year is going to be incredible for quarterbacks.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, John, what's going on with my Super Bowl-bound Houston Texans?
Well, they got through that gauntlet, Murderers Row. Then they beat up on the Cardinals. Didn't play that well on defense. Still gave up only 20 points. Won by 20. Now they get the worst team in the league that's tanking, trying to get the first pick, although Pete Carroll won't be there. And I want to read you guys here a stat that I've come across that I think is pretty telling. It's Texans and NFL research. This is the Texans defense in the fourth quarter. 3.1 points allowed, first in the NFL. 13 takeaways, first. 18 sacks, first. 50.1 opposing passer rating, first. So the defense is great, but it's especially great in the fourth quarter when they played close most of the time and they need the defense. And I think right now, if I am D'Amico Ryans, and he'll never say this, he's got two injured running backs. Woody Marks is banged up. I would keep him out or play him sparingly against the Raiders now that they know Jawar Jordan, the sixth-round pick last year from Louisville, who had been on a practice squad the last 2 years. They activated him because Nick Chubb was hurt, not going to play. Rushed for 101 yards on 15 carries, best of the season, only 100-yard game they've had, and he had a 50-yard run. That was the longest of the season. So they know they have him. I would want to see more of him against the Raiders and save Woody Marks for the next game against the Chargers, which is the biggest of the season. If everything goes according to plan, Jacksonville and Houston will be tied this time next week, because I think Jacksonville will lose at Denver. If the Jaguars win at Denver, we're going to have to talk about Jacksonville and the Super Bowl in the same sentence. And that hadn't been done since Tom Coughlin was there. And so then the Texans have their toughest game at the Chargers, team they eliminated from the playoffs last year and have beaten 2 times in a row. That would be a revenge game for the Chargers, but probably affects their playoff position when it comes to a wild card. So that's the big one. Then they close here. Whether it's against Phillip Rivers or Anthony Richardson, who could be back, or Riley Leonard. So at worst, the Texans ought to be 10-7 for the third year in a row, but I think they're going to end up 11-6.
Yeah, John, in that take, you mentioned Pete Carroll won't be around for the Silver and Black in 2026. Why do you think that?
Well, because they are utterly pathetic. And Chip Kelly, of course, was fired. Their offense is awful. Offensive line is terrible. I read an interesting story last night that the GM, John Spytek, who came from Tampa, where he worked with Tom Brady when they won the Super Bowl, he's a GM. He wants to rebuild the team. Where Pete Carroll came there thinking he needed to win immediately. and they have gotten absolutely nothing out of this season. They have two great players, Brock Bowers, tight end, Max Crosby, defensive end. Ashton Jenney, who was my preseason NFL Offensive Rookie of the Year, has been hit more in the backfield than any running back because their offensive line is terrible. They traded their best receiver, Jacoby Myers, to Jacksonville. He just got a 3-year contract extension. So they have put themselves in position to have to draft well, and I think it'll be a new coach. I think it'll be an offensive-oriented coach, and I think he'll be younger. They'll call it a mutual parting of the ways because nothing has gone right for the Raiders this season other than opening day. They beat the Patriots in New England, and people thought, yeah, man, what a great move bringing in Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
John, you feeling it? You feeling that Super Bowl fever in Houston? You feeling the possibility?
No. Why would I feel Super Bowl fever? Number one, they've never even been past the divisional round. I know I've told you guys this before. Houston has not had a team in the AFC Championship game since the 1979 Oilers. Houston has not won an AFC Championship game since the 1961 Oilers beat Sid Gilman's Chargers to win the AFC Championship. So I want to see the Texans get past the second round. I think they're going to be a wild card team, which means they'd have to win 3 road games to get to the Super Bowl. No. Their defense is a Super Bowl defense, still leads the NFL, fewest points allowed, fewest yards. But the problem is their offense, they're still inconsistent. They haven't been able to run the ball well. If you take away that 50-yard run by Jawar Jordan against the Cardinals, they would average 3.2 yards a carry. They're still bad in the red zone, terrible in the red zone. You know, Super Bowl teams aren't terrible in the red zone, I don't think. And I just think it's not C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud's playing better when they protect him and he throws the ball in the middle of the field. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL statistically. He had 3 touchdowns against the Cardinals. Cardinals are terrible. He may have 3 more against the Raiders. But the running game is inconsistent and they kick too many field goals.
John, your thoughts on Tua Tagovailoa getting benched for Quinn Ewers?
Well, first of all, Zach Wilson was upset because he was the backup. And to me, this is a move made by a head coach who thinks he's going to be back next year. And Wilson wasn't happy about it, said so, but said he would do everything he could to help Ewers. It's a tough situation to put Ewers in, but at least he's going to get a few NFL starts. And what if he does well? I've been telling people on all my shows this week, I said next year, Tua Tagovailoa is going to be the most expensive sub since the Nautilus because it'll cost them almost $100 million in dead cap money if they cut him. So they need to keep him around. Now, can he play for another team? Put it like this. Do we think if Tua Tagovailoa went to play for Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or Kevin O'Connell and these guys, or maybe Ben Johnson, these guys who are real quarterback gurus, possibly Liam Cohen, and they're proven. Cohen's not proven, but the others are. And so do we think he would wash out the way he has in Miami? Now, Mike McDaniel and Tua made beautiful music together those first 2 seasons. They went to the playoffs, and then Tua's kind of gone down the toilet, and it has not been because of an injury. And in defense, the Dolphins got rid of a lot of their best players, let them go in free agency or trades, like they traded their best pass rusher, Jalen Phillips, at the trade deadline for a 3rd-round pick. That hurt the defense. So people think McDaniel's going to come back with a reprieve. The key is, will they hire a new general manager, or will they keep Champ Kelly, who's the interim general manager and a longtime personnel guy?
All right, I'm going back to this one more time. Jacksonville has to lose to the Broncos at Denver, has to lose to the Colts at
Excuse me a second.
I thought John had sound effects for my
Okay, that was a dryer going off. It stopped. Sorry.
Okay. So Jacksonville, they could lose at Denver. They could lose at Indy. Because they're probably going to beat the Titans in Jacksonville. That would mean the Texans have to go 3-0 to finish. The Jaguars go 2-1 to finish. They'd be tied. How does the tiebreaker work?
I haven't even looked. I guess I should have looked. They split the season series. Then it would be division record. Then it would go record and common opponents. Then conference. I think conference should be second. At one point, it used to be, I think, and then they decided common opponents was a better barometer for which team deserved what. But Texans know they just need to win out.
Because they're both 7-2 against the conference. They both have one loss against the division. Man, this would come down to some nitty gritty. Would it be point differential between?
Well, you'd have to figure out common opponents. Have you gone over all their opponents?
No.
That's number 2.
Okay.
When it comes to determining a division winner, it's a division, common opponents, and conference. So common opponents to me is too much trouble to figure out. So I'll wait till somebody else does it. Feel free to do it for me.
Because I was feeling like CJ played pretty well, but it was the Cardinals, so I get it.
Excuse me, Chip. I just don't think this offense, because of the line being so inconsistent. You watched that game last night, and I know they're both teams. Texans lost on the road to the Rams by 5 and the Seahawks by 8. And they that was in that early stretch where they were struggling. They started 0-3 when they went to Seattle. They had won a game, but 2 one-score losses to the best teams in the NFC, maybe the best teams in the NFL. And they couldn't score. Now they're scoring better, but I still don't trust their offensive line. It's doing a better job. I see people around the league on ESPN, NFL Network, and other sites really giving the Texans a lot of love, especially about the defense, and the defense deserves it. But then they're talking about how much improved the offense is, how the offensive line is improved. Statistically, yes, it has. But if you watch it, there are very few times when C.J. Stroud gets the snap and he has a clean pocket. And when he does, he can fling it.
John, I don't remember what the schedule was last year because I was locked in on Texas versus Clemson in the first round. But your thoughts on the college football playoffs and the NFL competing on that Saturday?
Well, to me, you cannot have too much football, especially this time of year when you have playoff races in the NFL and you have the CFP. I think it's great, and I can't wait. I watched that game last night. I watched the game tonight. I'll be up watching the Aggies tomorrow. I watched those 3. I watched NFL. I'll watch one NFL game tomorrow. That will be the one at Soldier Field, Green Bay at Chicago, and be a great test for both those young quarterbacks. And I'm fired up about that. And then, of course, Sunday, Texans have a late game. They're playing the Raiders here at 3:25, Sunday night, Monday night. A lot of people are like, oh, my God, there's too much football. There's never too much football.
I agree.
I need the Packers to collapse. So I can't believe this. I need the Bears to beat the Packers. Then I need the Ravens to beat the Packers. And then somehow I need the Vikings to beat the Packers so that my Lions can backdoor their way in to the playoffs, John.
I can't, I picked Detroit and Buffalo before the season, and I feel if Buffalo gets home field advantage, they're going to be hard to beat up there. I think they'll go to the Super Bowl. But if they have to go on the road, let's face it, if they say they had to go to New England, I don't think New England is good at Buffalo. If Buffalo came to Denver and Josh Allen went up against that great defense, that would be a hell of a game. But they don't have to worry about going to Arrowhead Stadium. They don't have to worry about hosting Patrick Mahomes, and he's been there Waterloo. And so I think Buffalo right now is the best offense in the playoffs, And I think that Houston has the best defense, but Denver has a great defense, the most sacks, and Bo Nix is playing really, really well. And I don't know how y'all feel. I feel bad for what happened to Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons, but I'm glad the Chiefs aren't in it. I'm tired of the Chiefs. I was tired of the Patriots. And the Lions, I'd love to see them get in. I wanted to see the fan base from the Lions and the Bills, the two most frustrated fan bases. People in Cleveland go, oh, my God, we haven't won a championship since 1964. The Lions haven't won one since I was 3 years old. And Buffalo, of course, lost 4 Super Bowls in a row. Can you imagine what the Super Bowl would be like if the fans from Detroit and Buffalo were able to play in it? How excited that would be. Plus, it'd be a great offensive game. But the Lions got nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah. Who's going to win the NFC South?
Well, does anybody care? I think it's going to be the Buccaneers. I would take Baker Mayfield over Bryce Young in this situation. He's much more experienced. The Bucs have been terrible. They've lost 5 out of 6. They blew that fourth quarter lead of 14 points in the last game against the Falcons, a terrible team. Baker tried to take all the blame on the offense, but the fact was the defense blew it. Let Kirk Cousins beat them. And Todd Bowles had more F-bombs in a post-game news conference than I've ever seen a head coach have. And because there's talk, if they don't get in the playoffs and win that division again, he could be out. And there's always a surprise coach who could be out. Could it be Sean McDermott if the Bills are one and done? Could Matt LaFleur, who doesn't have an extension, his contract expires next year. He's got a new boss, head policy, Carmen's son. Could he be out? Could the Steelers finally say, okay, Mike, it's time for a change? If those 3 guys lost their jobs at noon, they'd have a new one by sundown. It'd be like when Andy Reid, when they told Andy, we're going to let you go, when he got back to his office, he had a call waiting from the Chiefs, and they hired him on the spot. So there's always a surprise. I don't know who it'll be, but it will be.
Yeah. Speaking of Andy Reid and the Chiefs, John, what are their plans for the future? Because clearly Patrick Mahomes, the ACL injury, I know medicine's come a long way and he could possibly play next year, but you got to think next year would be a dud. Travis Kelce ain't getting no younger. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Mahomes will be ready for the first game. The greatest turnaround I've ever seen. Adrian Peterson, he blew out 2 ligaments, including his ACL, on Christmas Eve. And the first game of the next year, he started his quest for 2,000 yards and had his greatest season. He had the surgery here. He rehabbed here. It was the greatest comeback. So Mahomes will be back. He didn't have to wait for the swelling to go down. He had surgery the next day, which to repair 2 ligaments. I think he'll be ready to go. Nobody knows for sure, but they're going to work out like crazy. They got great medical people. Careers don't end anymore on torn ACLs. The key is they've drafted the offensive linemen. They just need them healthy. They don't need to give any more attention to their offensive line. They need to get a legitimately good running back and quit putting Band-Aids on the position. And they need their young receivers, Worthy and Rice, to step up and be more consistent. Kelce had a better season this year than he did the previous year. Now, he wouldn't come back for money. His fiance's got a little bit of it. So that's not going to be an issue for him. But you know how they love to play football. Most of them have to be told, this is it. So I'm not counting him out yet, even though once he does retire, we're going to see him on more commercials than his brother. Probably all of them will be together. Networks will line up to get him on their crew, and he'll do whatever Tay wants him to do. And they have some talent. They need to work on their one more pass rusher. They need another defensive back, whether it's a corner or a safety. But that team needs a good, legitimate running back to take some pressure off Mahomes. Can all that be done? Sure, it can be done. I look for them to come back. It's retool, not rebuild.
All right, who who are your Super Bowl picks right now?
I'm still picking the Rams, and I'm gonna pick the Rams and Bills because I like to look at the quarterbacks. And Matthew Stafford, who now has 41 touchdown passes, I think he's had 8 games with at least 3 and no interceptions. And last night he threw for 457 yards, no sacks, no turnovers, and they get beat. And I'm going to go with Buffalo. I think Buffalo's going to get there, and they're going to play the Rams. And it's going to be in Santa Clara, which will be overrun by Bills fans coming from all over the world. You know, about 100 Rams fans will drive up. And I think most people would want to see Buffalo win that game and end all those decades of frustration.
John, Monday Night Football, Phillip Rivers gets his second start since coming out of retirement, and it's going to be a tough one because Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are coming into town. Your thoughts on Rivers and his first start in this game?
Zay should be a little bit better, even though he played 16 years, 17, whatever it was. It's still been a long time, so he had to knock off cobwebs. And I thought under the circumstances, they had a nice conservative game plan, and they could have won. You know, the defense let the Seahawks get in position to kick that 56-yard field goal at no time left, or few seconds left to win it. It was a field goal game. Overall, Indy's defense played really well against the Seahawks. Maybe Seattle was looking ahead to the Rams, but I think he should be a little bit better, should get great ratings. I was at a fundraiser, and it was at some people's house, and they had a big house and a lot of TVs. Every one of them was turned to the Colts game, and people, even if it wasn't big fans, wanted to see what Rivers was doing. I remember 2 or 3 women, I want Phillip Rivers to win, and I said, that's not good for the Texans. Texans need him to lose, but I love Phillip Rivers and what he's doing. And so he helped get a lot of non-fans be fans, and it's a great story, you know, coming back. His family has 10 kids, get insurance for the next 5 years. He gets like $298,000, even though he made $211 million when he played. And I think it's a great success story, but the Texans need him to lose out. Except for I need to beat Jacksonville.
All right. Lions, Steelers. What do you think in Detroit?
Lions. I think the Lions going to beat them bad. I think the Lions. Who do the Lions have after the Steelers?
After the Steelers, they've got the Steelers, and then they've got the Vikings in Minnesota and at Chicago.
I think it's going to come down to the last game. I think they're going to win the next 2, and then they're going to play Chicago, and that'll have some kind of meaning for both teams. I hope that would be a great way to end it. A great offense in Detroit, a good improving offense in Chicago, terrible weather. That would be a fantastic finish.
Well, Zay, you got one more?
Yeah, last one for me, John. Patriots going to Baltimore. Ravens, they just don't look very good. Lamar Jackson doesn't look very good yet. They are picked -3.
It doesn't matter. The last game against Pittsburgh will determine that division. I'm eager to see how does New England bounce back from losing. Now, Mike Vrabel's been through the playoff wars. He won 4 Super Bowl rings. Vrabel is a really good coach, and I'm sure he'll have them ready to play. But you never know what a young, inexperienced team is going to do after they lose and when the pressure is on. I'm taking the Patriots. I can't imagine the last time I picked against Baltimore at home, and but I think New England is going to win it. And I for Vrabel, I really like Vrabel. He coached here before he went to Tennessee, and I think he's doing a hell of a job. But I think New England's going to win it.
Oh man, it's wild, and there are some unbelievable storylines in the NFL this year. John, thank you so much. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you guys. We're going to be doing a show next Friday?
No, sir. We are off.
How do you guys get off on a Friday at a time like this? There's football.
I know.
Texas ain't
Your
playing.
listeners and your viewers want to talk about football.
I know. Yeah, we're doing well, would you want to jump on Tuesday?
Sure, I'll jump on Tuesday. Let me double check here. Tuesday.
Are you a busy man?
Yeah, let's do Tuesday.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Same time.
Tuesday at 3.
I can't wait.
All right.
Thank you very much. Y'all have a great
Appreciate your
weekend. Thank you.
All right. There we go. Look at that. We'll get to talk some post NFL weekend with John McClain right before we sign off for Christmas Eve and Christmas. All right. Let's get a couple mentions in here. Like for my guys who are snoring, how about giving the gift of not snoring and making sure that you're healthy? Because snoring could be a sign that you have sleep apnea, which is a lack of oxygen while you sleep. And you don't want that. It's scary because you don't even know when you're gasping for air. The person next to you does, but that's why you should take advantage of this great partnership that we have right now between Texas Sports Unfiltered and the Sleep Cycle Center right here in Austin, locations in Lakeway and the Arboretum. And it's headed by Dr. Chad Denman, who's dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea because it killed his own father at the age of 60. It's real simple. You go to sleepcyclecenters.com and you tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you, and they're going to take $100 off your sleep study, practically give it away so that you get the information you need. Dr. Chad has the best technology to detect your level of sleep apnea and the best treatment options, including oral appliances. Like I have a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open, so I get that oxygen while I'm sleeping. My wife is happy. It's a beautiful thing. Just go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. Earlier in the show, of course, I talked about Humann, my Humann supplements. I'm so happy with them. I'm a collector of supplements. I've tried them all, and Humann is the best. And you gotta, if you take these three to get, at the same time, the Humann Cardiovascular Health Daily, the Humann Metabolic Health Daily, and the Humann Cholesterol Health Daily, you're going to feel like a new man. And don't forget about those Super Beats heart chews, because, I might send a bag of these to my man, Will Muschamp, just to make sure he's okay. But these are going to help you if you've had any kind of blood pressure issue. This is going to provide blood pressure support 2 times more effectively than just diet and exercise. And look, the beet-based formulas of Humann's, Super Beats are the number one recommended by cardiologists. And I take the Super Beats Sports Powder about 30 minutes before I work out. And I take the turmeric turmeric chews for anti-inflammation, because that's where your pain comes from, is inflammation. So you need to be taking those turmeric chews as well. All you got to do is go to humann.com/TSU. Use the promo code TSU. You're going to get 20% off your first order. And load up, because you have nothing to lose except better health, because there's a 90-day money-back guarantee. So you'll have time to let these products take, root, and you're going to feel better. Your brain fog's going to go away. You're going to feel, if you're an athlete, cannot recommend the Humann supplements enough. Game changer. Go to humann.com/TSU. And Cover 3, how about a little holiday cheer over at Cover 3? Cover 3 Anderson, Cover 3 Round Rock, they're ready and waiting for you. Bring the whole family. They get it. The vibe, the service, the great food, the Sean Adams prime rib sandwich, the Chop House burger that Texas Monthly calls one of the best burgers in the state of Texas, what it's all about. I mean, Zay is so excited about the Chop House burger that he's laughing over there. He can't wait to get his hands on one. So get over to Cover 3 Anderson, Cover 3 Round Rock, and have some holiday cheer. Bring the whole family. Don't forget about brunch on the weekends with that incredible do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar. And hey, when you're ready for the big screen of your dreams, audio visual consultations. Our man Tom McKay, he founded that company almost 40 years ago, and he is the king of audio visual in Austin. He's put big screen TVs in all your favorite restaurants, and he's put them in 3 different houses for me in my 30 years in Austin. Tom's just the best, and he's a great partner of Texas Sports Unfiltered, of course, but I could not recommend him highly enough. And look, if you don't have a big screen big enough to make you feel like you're on the sideline at the game, it's time to upgrade. You owe it to yourself. Just call 255-8678. That's 255-8678. And let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. He's going to bring you the best price on big screens. And we're talking about LG and Sonos surround sound. He's got you covered. New lighting, electronic shades, surveillance he can do. Just call 255-8678 or go to avconsultations.com. All right, Zay, for the chip shot today, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about Will Muschamp, the new head coach of the defense at Texas. Steve Sarkeesian today, a little press conference to explain all the excitement that interrupted our show yesterday when Texas announced all in one swoop the dismissal of Pete Kwiatkowski and Dwayne Aquina and the hiring of Will Muschamp. It was very, very Chris Del Conte-ish. Chris Del Conte is as stealth as it gets when it comes to going to get his coach, and oftentimes doesn't announce the departure of a coach until he has the next coach ready. Remember when he let go of Ange Kelly as the soccer coach, and the next day, boom, Coach Bates was introduced as the new women's soccer coach at Texas. Marguerite Bates, she is off and running. She won a national championship at UCLA. And Will Muschamp helped win 3 national championships as the defensive coordinator at LSU in 2003 and at Georgia in 21 and 22. And look, I trust the guys who played for Will Muschamp. And I know it's been a minute, but the former Texas guys who played for Muschamp, guys like Aaron Williams, Roy Miller, Alex Okafor, they just talk about the accountability, the toughness. Like Roy Miller's as tough a guy as I've ever been around. And Roy talks about Muschamp's toughness. And he said, honestly, it's rare in football. Like you would think every coach you have is, he gets it, but they don't all get it. They don't all have that aura of toughness. And, he says you do take on the personality of your coach. And he said, guys at Texas are going to embrace that that intensity, that demand of physical play and the attention to detail. And, Roy Miller said, we always felt prepared going into a game. And if we had to make adjustments, we always felt like Muschamp was finding the way to put us in the best position to be successful. So, Muschamp he's very demanding of himself. That's why I keep saying, if he's dialed in, if he's still as fired up, after taking a step back from the Georgia program the last year to, be around his son, who's, been working his way up in football now at Vanderbilt, then away we go. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see what this defense looks like next year and how these guys adjust. He's, he's on campus now. He's meeting with players. So away we go. And you played the social media post from Emmanuel Acho. And, when they talk about great coaches, they talk about great teachers. Great coaches are great teachers. It doesn't matter what they know. It matters what they can get you to know. And different guys learn different ways. And that's the other thing I've heard is that Muschamp gets it across to each guy and then holds them accountable. And if you're not paying attention to detail, you're either going to start paying attention to detail or you're going to be on the sidelines. So he's a tough guy, but the guys all talk about how he's a good communicator too. He cares about the player. Roy Miller said that Muschamp has continued to be a mentor to him all through his time at Georgia. Roy Miller's coaching now. He's a defensive coordinator at the high school level. And I thought that was cool because he still makes time for his former players. He only coached Roy Miller 1 year in 2008. So, I think it was a stunner for sure. It was a stunner. And, but Muschamp, he's done it as a defensive coordinator at the highest level. I think that's where he knows he's at his best. And so if those guys are excited, I'm excited.
Yeah. Coach, the great Brian Arakpo, who, when I was in Houston this past weekend, some random white dude, I'm rocking UT gear, some random white dude said, "Hey, you used to play for Texas?" I go, "No. Who do you think I was, though?" He said, "Brian Arakpo." So I don't know if that's a flex for me or
it's a flex for you.
Or a complete disrespectful, just insane look for Brian Arakpo. I'll take it.
Yeah, Brian Arakpo probably would have put his fist through that guy, but that's a huge. I'll take
it. I'll take it. I was shrugging my shoulders a little bit. My mother-in-law was like, "What you so smiling for?" I was like, "Yo, that dude said he thought I was Brian Arakpo. Shit, I don't care if he retired or not. I'll take it." But as far as Brian Arakpo goes, my bad, dog. Like the fact that they thought I was you, it's my bad, dog.
Did you go up to your bride and say, "Hey, baby"?
Nah, she know what she got. I don't gotta say that. She know what she got. Come on now. Come on now. You know how we do.
Yeah, player.
All right. I got a couple things for the right call. And we also got to get to our picks. So
we got to get to our picks.
We got to do all 4 college football playoff games.
Yep.
We got to do all 4. Then we pick
all 4
games we got for NFL. But before that, though, got to give a shout out to Covert BK. If y'all need a car out there, whether it's for a man of the house, the woman of the house, the kids, don't matter, grandma, anyone could use a car. Go to Covert BK, new pre-owned. They got you covered. 7 terrific brands to choose from: GMC, Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Cadillac, and Buick. And you wonder, man, Zay, how do you know so much about Covert BK? Because we are customers of Covert BK. Our Buick Encore GX is absolutely spectacular. It's perfect for our family. Champ loves it. And that's the most important. My dog, if he loves it, hey, we cool. So get over to Covert BK and get that car situation settled and ride off something that you love, because you deserve that. So go to covertbk.com, see all the latest specials and inventory before you get to the dealership. And remember, nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. Ringo, I appreciate it, but I'm good, bro. I'm good. Trust me. We are good over here. All right, Chip. So one of my favorite comedians is Daniel Tosh. He pushes the limit. I don't know how he hasn't gotten canceled, but the dude's funny as hell. Had this show for years and years, Tosh.0 on Comedy Central. It's a different type of comedy, but for somebody that likes slapstick stuff like myself, He's perfect. So he does a really good Lane Kiffin impersonation that he used to do years ago, where he would pretend to be Lane on a radio show and he would have callers call in, and it was just classic. So Daniel Tosh getting back in his Lane Kiffin bag and is bringing it back because obviously Lane Kiffin is a hot topic right now. Check it out.
Welcome to Kiffin's Cajun Cast. It's my very first episode of my new podcast, brought to you by MeUndies, a ball hair trimmer and the governor of Louisiana. Now, it's been a minute since I've hosted my award-winning call-in show, but since I have all the time in the world this playoff season, I figured I'd dust off the old Lane line, take some calls from the fans. Now, before we get started, I want to address the crimson elephant in the room. A lot of you might be wondering why I bailed on those boys at Ole Miss to take this job at LSU. Tigers, arr! I want you to know it was the hardest decision of our lives. I prayed on it. I said, "Dear football Jesus, give me the strength to make the right decision. Through you, all is right. Should I f*** over these young kids, these fans?" And God said to me, He said, "Lane, you follow the money." Okay? And you guys know hot yoga ain't cheap. That's the only way I'm going to get around sweaty college girls anymore.
Some of the past episodes of that is hilarious.
Oh, it's gold. It's gold.
I mean, yeah, go to YouTube, check out some of the past episodes. I don't know who that girl is, but she gets way more involved in some of the past episodes. It's pretty dang funny.
Yo, you can see his shirt and his hat. It's just the LSU logo.
Yeah, stickers.
The Ole Miss logo.
Over the Ole Miss logos.
Good. That's good. That's good, Daniel Tosh. I'm glad that you brought that back, dog. We needed that. All right, before we get to the picks, I got to throw this other video at you. So Kevin Durant went on Fran Van Vliet's podcast, and they were just chopping it up, talking ball. Good episode. Good episode. But Fred had to know why KD doesn't really pay attention to his look much. Real simple guy, Kevin Durant. It's hoops and mama. Besides that, ain't really much going on with Kevin Durant. So much so, sometimes he might forget to brush his hair, or he might forget to put on some lotion, which, if that means you become a top 10 scorer, then I need some of y'all other guys out here. Y'all need to be nappy and ashy too, because when KD does it, it works. So y'all try to knock it, but whatever. But Kevin Durant, he had an explanation for why sometimes he could be ashy and nappy.
Here. What's up with the hair though? Why don't brush your hair?
I don't like for what?
You come up with what?
Why get cuts? Why lotion why lotion?
You don't wear lotion either?
No, I don't lotion my body like that. I might lotion my hands if they a little dry, but I don't know.
But I see you sometimes you be having a fresh joint though.
Sometimes when they like, yo,
what make you get like that?
What make me get a cut for reals when I'm in my room playing the game. My homie's like, yeah, we got the barber on the way here. I was like, all right, fuck it. If y'all getting a cut, I go get one too. I ain't calling it myself.
You just rolling with the game. And you so fucking tall. I be arguing with Jeff about this show all the time because his shit a little missing up there. But y'all be so tall too. Most people not seeing it on a daily basis, only on TV. Where it looks crazy. But when you sign here, the amount of barbers I had on my DM,
bro,
my phone,
realtors and barbers.
Yo,
my
tell
line
KD,
crazy.
If you need a cut, I'm thinking to myself, y'all know this man don't care about no fucking haircut. Look at him.
Oh my God.
I mean, again, it works for him. Like, to get that jump shot as pure as it is, sometimes you don't have time for the barber shop, or you don't have time for the personal barber to come in. You know, I just got a cut today. That's 30 minutes. 30 minutes, you can get up 500 shots. I'm, just trying to put things in perspective for folks out there trying to clown my man KD, because I remember seeing his ankles one time, man. If you rub your hand across that ankle, you start a fire. That's how dry that thing was. So, again, the jumper's pretty. So if that means I got to sacrifice some things to be on top of my game, be a two-time champ, over 15-time All-Star. Hey, sacrifices have to be made.
Who's KD dating?
Nobody. No one.
Dating his basketball
Yeah,
career.
Spalding. What Omar Epps saying, loving basketball. Spalding. That's
Spalding.
Wilson. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only loves in his life. And mama. That's it. Which good for him. Like, he's never been in any scandals, never been in the media for the wrong reason when it comes to women. Never heard really women talking bad about him. You know, haven't heard many Instagram models, you know how they'll expose a brother real quick for sliding them DMs. Like, hey, can the brother just say hello? How you doing? I like your outfit. But nah, they want to expose because it gives them more clout. I get it. I get the game. But you never hear Kevin Durant a part of any of that stuff. So, yeah, he loves his weed too. Yeah, appreciate that. He loves his marijuana. Yeah, he said that on David Letterman. Yeah, that is known. All right, let's what?
Someone said inexcusable loss for the Rockets last night in OT to the Pelicans.
Yeah, you can't be losing to the Pelicans, man. They're horrible. They're horrible. I do like Jeremiah Fears. You remember the Oklahoma guard that they had last year? He's good, man. He's got the right kind of wiggle that fits for the NBA. And then they got Derek Queen from Maryland, who he looks undersized, but he's like a mixture of Zach Randolph a little bit, and he has a little Jokic in him. And they ain't winning no games, but they sure look good losing. I'll give them that.
All right.
Yeah.
You ready for the picks?
Let's do it.
All right. We got 4 college football playoff games to pick, starting with Bama at OU tonight. I said earlier, I just don't see Kalen DeBoer losing twice to Brent Venables 3 times. He's already lost to him 2 in a row.
Yeah, last year.
Sark can't beat Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer can't beat Brent Venables?
Yeah.
There's no way Brent Venables is going to make it 3 in a row. So despite Alabama looking like a lost puppy in their beat down against Georgia, beat down from Georgia, I'm picking Alabama plus 1.5.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got to go Bama. This is straight hate pick. There ain't no analysis involved at all. Ty Simpson could go out there in a damn boot, and I'm picking Alabama. I'm so mad that freaking Oklahoma is a part of this game. Like John Mateer, it's been awful since the Texas game. The offense has been awful. Haven't been able to run the ball all year. And Brent Venables, he keeps just figuring out ways for that defense, man. Again, I've given a lot of respect to Brent Venables this season that he definitely earned. So, that being said, I still got to go with the Crimson Tide. Like Kalen DeBoer, don't worry about Michigan right now. It'll still be there. You can win the game and come back and leave. I mean, what?
Yeah.
We can win and leave. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
All right. 11 a.m. tomorrow. Man, Miami got lucky. Lucky that this isn't a night game at Kyle Field. I don't like this hook. It's A&M minus 3.5. I think this is, but I'm picking A&M. I'm picking A&M. I just think at Kyle Field, all those crazy chigga-rigga-rums swaying, whatever the Dr. Seuss language they use to cheer themselves up. Hullabaloo, knick, whatever that is. Give me the ag. Minus 3.5. I don't trust Mario Cristobal, but I do like, I mean, Miami has good personnel. Like if Mario gets out of the way, Miami can be pretty good, but my gut says A&M is going to win this thing by 3. which means I should pick Miami. But
I mean, I like Miami. I think Colin Klein, he is locked in on his alma mater. He's been waiting for that gig his whole life. His whole life. Like, that means so much to him. He probably wishes he could get a head start right now, but it would look bad for him to turn his back on Texas A&M, which their success is a reason why it led to him getting that Kansas State job in the first place. But you can't tell me he might not be distracted. And they could go out and roll still. But I'm looking at that as something to keep my eye on with Marcel Reed, because he needs all the comfort to begin with that he could get. So stop that run game. Ruben Owens with his old looking ass. First time I saw Ruben Owens.
I think Le'Veon Moss is going to play. Is Le'Veon Moss playing?
Let him play. Yeah, let him play. But them Aggies, they do a lot of talking. Them offensive linemen, they just are very confident. Some will call it cocky group of guys. So I know Mario hasn't been the best coach at times, but I'm going to ride with him.
All right.
Hate watch. Number 2, give me the Hurricanes. We used to knock brothers out. I got to talk like Michael Irvin. We used to knock brothers out. Yo, is Michael Irvin going to be there? Because if he lives in Dallas, it's not that far. It's not that. If he's in Dallas, I'd make the trip if I was playmaker. Why are you looking so hard at these next games?
Well, I don't know if I should take Miami plus 3.5 because I think A&M is going to win by 3.
Hey.
All right, I'm taking Miami plus 3.5.
There we go.
But I think A&M wins the game. All right, Tulane at Ole Miss. I told you I got Jake Retzlaff to cover the 17.5. What say you?
Yeah, Summerall, ER, his mind in Gainesville. Let me get Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. They got something to prove. They got to stick it to that coach down there in Baton Rouge.
And James Madison, give me James Madison plus 20.5. I think Oregon wins, but I think JMU covers the 20.5. What say you, Zay? I'm going.
You nicer than me. I'm going Oregon. Blowout.
Oregon, blowout.
James Madison, Autzen Stadium with something on the line. This ain't no normal early September game. Like, it's about to be rowdy up in Eugene. And James Madison, whose coach is also somewhere else. All right. Good luck.
Okay. All right. NFL, you did good last week in NFL. You went 3-1. I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears, baby. I need them. I need them to beat the Packers.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah, I know that hurts. I know that's painful for you to say.
It is painful.
But, I admire that because I know that's difficult.
Bears minus 1.5 at home against the Packers.
Yeah. Hey, yo, Quinn Ewers, not only are we covering, we winning the game.
Ooh.
We winning the game. Oh, depressed Joe Burrow. Come on, man. Come on. Let me take the Dolphins. Plus 4.5, baby.
Dolphins plus 4.5 it is. All right, give me Denver. Give me Denver. The Broncos, I need them to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars because I need my Texans to get to the Super Bowl. So Denver minus 3.5 at home against the Jaguars.
Let me get New England plus 3. Like, something seriously going on with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. I think New England's going to be pissed off from that loss last week against Buffalo, and they're going to take it out on the Ravens.
Yeah, that's probably a good call. Give me the 49ers.
Ooh.
Give me the 49ers. I think the dream comes to an end for old man Rivers.
See, now you're making me have to make that pick. I gotta go with Phillip. Like, I have no choice. Week 2, more comfortable. We're pushing it down the field this week. Last week was a little warm up. Now we're pushing it down the field. Let's go. Gotta keep him honest, Phil. Gotta keep him honest.
Okay. There it is.
Let's go.
Let's bring in the fellas. Patrick and Matt.
What up, guys?
What up, dogs?
What's going on, guys?
Oh, just chopping wood with a butter knife as usual.
Getting into it on a Friday. We got playoffs tonight.
Yeah.
Playoffs?
Tonight. I'm excited to watch some playoffs tonight. It's going to be a good one. I'm wearing the same shirt I wore when Texas beat OU this year to try and get an extra little bit of spite for OU.
Yo,
So
I appreciate that. That's the petty I'm on, Patrick. That's beautiful.
So you're rolling with the Crimson Tide.
Also you got to remember I have a lot of friends from Alabama, so the party's a lot better when Alabama wins. I'll say that. So we'll be hanging out tonight watching the game. I've already got wings cut up. I got food ready to go for the game tonight. So it should be fun.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Hey, everybody have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
See you Monday.
Welcome in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. So how the gym is open. Text line's open, 512-222-9328. Or over there on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. That is where you can get in contact with us and hang out with us here on a Friday. And Matt, it is a Friday, so it is a open bar, open gym Friday. Having a couple brewskis with you. If you got one and you want to start off your weekend with us, come on and have a drink with us. I'm just getting started, Matt, because I've got people coming to the house post show, so I'm just getting warmed up for these weirdos to show up, these Alabama weirdos to show up at my house.
I am excited to see John Mateer play like dog water tonight. I don't know about you.
I'm just hoping that Alabama wakes up and plays good football. If Oklahoma beats them twice in a year, I don't like that one bit.
I mean, Alabama's not Alabama anymore,
Well, no, but and the weirdest part is someone said this earlier, that it's like, well, Alabama will be a 4-loss season, and you're like, all right, but can we say it's a 4-loss season when one is in the SEC championship and one is in the bowl game, or like in a playoff game? That feels like not quite a 4-loss season as much as it is a 10-win season. Like, you still had a really good season.
You call it a 10-win season. You don't call it a 4-loss season.
Yeah. I was like, I get that that's a 4-loss season, but that's a little...
Unless it's Oklahoma, then you call it a 4-loss season.
I was like, that's a little over the top, because you're like, well, then they shouldn't have played conference championship game and shouldn't, then the playoffs, and they wouldn't have lost 4 games. But they have to win a championship to not be a 4-loss team, and I don't think this is a championship Alabama team. So they will most likely be a 4-loss team. Yeah, CB, not everybody should drink. The people who drink it, enjoy it. And if you don't, good on you, because sober people are also make the world go round. So I'm not a peer pressure guy of trying to get people to go into all of my vices. I'm fine with everybody having their own way of life. Don't have to.
Hey, I was sober for 75 days at one point, and it was glorious. Drinking's not for everybody. That's okay.
And then you turned one.
I was actually sober for yes. No, I'm not gonna make that joke. Yes. Anyway, open bar Friday. I'm excited about this game tonight. I'm very excited about this game tonight. You know how excited I am about this game tonight, Patrick?
How's that?
I put money on it.
Ooh. I'll tell you, last night I may have had a little action on the Seahawks Rams, little player props out there, and really needed that overtime. Really needed that overtime, and it came through for me in overtime. So I was pretty happy about that overtime.
Yeah, I was still under the impression that a touchdown won you the game in overtime. So like
No,
Puka
both
Nacua scored that touchdown, and I was like, oh, it's over. And then it kept going. And I
no,
was like,
because both teams get possession now. Only if you if a field goal on the first one, then a touchdown wins it, or if you punt the first time, then a touchdown wins it. But both teams have to have possession of the football. So no, it was a little because I was like, wait, does this end it? And then they were not celebrating. I was like, okay, I don't think that ends. I think we're right.
Yeah, I was very, very confused. But then I remembered they changed the rule. And I like the rule. I think that's the way that should be. But just for the purposes of last night, I hated it.
Yeah. Oh, and CB, I got you. I got you. The choosing not to drink is a very valid choice in life. But yeah, it was and then man, I'll say this. Hats off to McDonald for going for 2 at the end of that game.
Yeah.
Like, do you know, they said no one's ever won a playoff game or won a overtime game by going for 2.
Yeah, that was. I mean, hey, you get to secure the number 1 seed in your division, or then you're still in the playoffs whether you lose or not. So you might as well go for it.
No, exactly. No, I think it was. But yeah, that was a heck of a game last night. Enjoyed watching that one and the comeback and the Seahawks, and it was a fun game to watch. For someone who did not have a horse in the race, it was a fun game to watch. If I was rooting for the Rams, it would not have been as much fun to watch. But considering I didn't have a team, it was really fun to watch.
I mean, I was just rooting for Matthew Stafford in fantasy because he's my fantasy quarterback, and I'm trying to avoid Puka Nacua too. No, I did not have Puka Nacua, but Stafford put up 47.7 for me, so I'm doing all right.
Yeah, I had a friend who had Puka and Matt Stafford, so she's at 77 points right now. After Thursday night, she's at 77 points. So that is it's a great one. We want to get into a little bit more Will Muschamp news. We talked about it a lot yesterday, but there is more information. And Sark spoke to the media today. So we'll get to more of that. Just some other odds and ends that I saw around that I want to get into before we get into too much more, Matt. But of course, I also want to get it. We're going to talk a lot of playoffs, make our picks, Matt's bourbon banter, a lot to coming up on the show today, and whatever you guys want to talk about. I did see Nakua's brothers in trouble. That Nakua's brother thing is really weird because they're like he's getting arrested for stealing a car, but it feels like he knew the guy because they're saying he took the car without the guy's permission to do Thero, who plays for the Lakers. But they're like, it seems like they knew each other because it's not like, oh, he stole this car. It's like they were using a car that I guess they had access to, but they weren't supposed to be using. Something to that effect, which is still stealing a car. Yeah. You learn from listening to Will Smith's Parents Just Don't Understand. You know that those things. Which, by the way, so I've been listening to Christmas music, Matt, to get a little bit more in the spirit when I'm walking my dog in the morning, trying to get a little bit more in the spirit. So you watch in your listen to different songs. And so I'm listening to different playlists, trying to find songs that I don't know for Christmas songs, like by famous people. And, I really love weird Christmas, like cash grabs and the ones where they're like, oh, we got to do a Christmas song. And they turn one song into a Christmas song. I'm a big fan of it. They're always bad, but I'm a big fan of it because some part of me loves bad music. Like some of your favorites would be Christmas Dirtbag by Wheatus, the Teenage Dirtbag. There's a Christmas Dirtbag. Taking Care of Christmas by Bachman Turner Overdrive instead of Taking Care of Business. That's a real one. I heard one today on a mix, just listen to random Christmas music on a mix. That was, do you know the song Thank You for Being a Friend by Andrew Gold? It's the theme for Golden Girls.
No.
If you probably heard the song before where it's like, thank you for being a friend. And it's a very famous song. Especially because it was on that song, that show. It's been on tons of commercials. So it's just a really famous song. And then I hear the song and then it's like a Christmas version. And I go, okay, this song's already kind of weird because it's kind of like a TV jingle for the beginning. And then it goes into when we die and our particles disperse and we're in the afterlife and all this stuff, the end of the song, it's way past when the show's already started. So it's already kind of a weird song. Literally, the only thing different about this Christmas version, Matt, sleigh bells. Just the little sleigh bells ringing. That's it. It's the exact same song, and someone just dubbed sleigh bells over the top of it and then re-released it as a Christmas song. I'm like, that is the worst thing I've ever heard, and it's hilarious. I'm just like, how is this? And like, it's one of the few Christmas songs that talks about dying. Usually not in most Christmas songs. And look, I'll say this, Rodney, I don't listen to traditional Christmas music as much. I listen to popular band. Like one of my favorites is Mistress for Christmas by AC/DC. It's a weird song, but it's like, I like that kind of stuff a little bit more. So you try and find these good ones. Backdoor Santa by Clarence Carter is another great song about a guy sneaking in the back of houses while the husbands are at work to have sex with their wives. And he just calls it's a Christmas song. It's called Backdoor Santa. It's like, those are great ones. So that kind of music is what I'm listening to more of, and you try and find stuff like that. And CV, Christmas Shoes is the worst song ever recorded, thought of, just the idea of it. There's multiple Hallmark movies for it. It is ridiculous.
My favorite Christmas song of all time, and it's not close. I listen to it every single Christmas on repeat for a long time. And when I'm driving around looking at Christmas lights, it is the best Christmas song ever written, as a matter of fact, Patrick.
Okay.
It is Merry Christmas from the Family by Robert Earl Keen Jr.
Okay.
It is so good. And I encourage everybody to go listen to it as soon as you get done listening to this 2-hour show. After that, listen to it. But
after that,
right now, listen to Open Gym.
Right now, listen, yeah. And CB, I'll tell you, Magic 95.5 did ruin a lot of Christmas music for me because I worked there for a while, and it ruined a lot of Christmas music. They start Christmas music so early. It's like Thanksgiving, and then it started to move up before Thanksgiving. I don't know when they started now, but yeah, here in Austin, it's a radio station that it plays only Christmas music during the holiday season, and it is it's the same songs over and over and over. And if you're in the office, you just keep hearing those songs over and over.
You know, another really good one that has just been like a remix because of social media, kind of like the one where they just put the sleigh bells over it. It's With Arms Wide Open. I think it's With Arms Wide Open by Creed, but with the Mariah Carey music instead of Creed's actual music.
It's a little mashup there.
Hello, my friend, we're here again. Yeah, it's fantastic.
I like it. Yeah. I try and do the weirder music. So I've been trying to get in the spirit a little bit more, trying to get more in the spirit, because all I do is watch sports and do this. So I've not really gotten in the spirit so much. So, and like that was tonight, I'm going to this morning I was going grocery shopping, and you going through the store and everybody going through the store, and you see like people getting stuff for Christmas and everything, and they're trying to, and I'm like, wings, queso. We're still in football season, guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, another one, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer by DMX.
Oh, that's a solid. That's a
classic.
That is a solid. Christmas Rappin' by Curtis Blow is just a silly song, and it has one of my favorite rhymes of all time, which is talking about parents getting presents, and it's like the parents get presents too, like a new TV and a stereo. Like, did you write that? And they both ended in an O, so you thought it rhymed, and then when you started to rap it, you were like, oh, those words do not rhyme at all.
I love that.
It's a jarring rhyme if you're actually listening to the lyrics. Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto is all time great. James Brown, not the Snoop Dogg version, the James Brown version is all time great. I've listened to Snoop Dogg one, but I'll listen to James Brown 100 times. It's a sample for the Snoop Dogg version, and the music on it is just great. So I love the James Brown version of Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto. Yeah, good stuff there. Good stuff there on some Christmas music. A couple odds and ends there, Matt, before we get too far into talking football. or these are football. I did see something. I'm not a message board guy, Matt. I really stay off of message boards. There's not much fun in there, but I saw one this morning from Michigan.
Ooh.
And I was curious why Michigan was talking about PK.
New DC.
And I was like, I just saw it and I was like, why are they talking about PK? And this is the theory. This is the theory that was presented. And I do not believe it, but I like the theory. I like how that they were saying that PK, that Alabama wanted to hire PK at a point when Kalen DeBoer got there, that they were going to try and steal away PK, but Texas was able to keep him. So now that PK was probably already listening to an offer from Kalen DeBoer to go to Michigan to be Kalen DeBoer's DC. And that is why Texas had to get rid of him, was because he's going to Michigan with Kalen DeBoer. So it was, I love the theory of it because it is, I'm like, I still very much don't believe that Kalen DeBoer is going to Michigan, but I do like fans just, it's always fun to go to another fan base and see them be as delusional as we are sometimes. I just love to watch it.
Yeah, that's pretty absurd, but it's pretty much pretty accurate for message board standards, I would imagine. My favorite back in the day is when, I used to be on Ole Miss message boards all the time before I got into media. And when Houston Nutt got fired.
Yeah.
It was John Gruden. And then every time there's an Ole Miss coach opening, is like, well, that just means it's time for John Gruden. And everybody was so bought into the John Gruden at Ole Miss thing. And then John Gruden at Tennessee, and then John Gruden here, and then it was crazy. There's always some sort of weird, weird conspiracy theories on there, and it's actually really entertaining. Like, I almost got a subscription to Texags just to look at the message board and laugh at people.
It is an interesting one. We also got a couple different reports today, Matt. One was that Arch Manning is taking a pay cut. Yeah. To which people I've talked to have told me he has never taken money from the house. He's not planning to take money from the house because he makes lots of money in NIL. He's doing very, very well in NIL, so they don't have to pay him. So the story could be Arch continues to say, guys, use that money on elsewhere to bring in other players because I'm pretty well taken care of right now, making millions of dollars on these commercials. If you watch that Ohio State game, the first 3 commercials in the first commercial break were all Arch Manning. Mm-hmm. You're like, that dude's doing okay. So that report, I don't know what it's technically somewhat true because he is not taking money. But from more sources that I have, the people I've talked to, I should say, that Arch is not really ever taken money out of the revenue sharing side of the Texas Longhorns, that he is fully okay with them building a championship team around him, using some of that revenue sharing money and not having to worry about pulling that from the NIL. He does make plenty in NIL though.
Well, when did the revenue sharing start?
Last year.
So yeah, last year, 2024 season,
I think so,
or before the start of this season.
I don't know. I think it started last year.
Either way, it's quite refreshing, because most kids in college football will sit there and be like, "Oh yeah, just give me all the money that I possibly can get my hands on." And Arch is sitting there and be like, "No, I'm good. I want to win a championship. Let's build it, or let's use that money to build. I don't need it." How many other kids in college football would do that?
How many other kids' parents are millionaires?
It doesn't matter.
It does matter. It wildly matters. Because if I'm saying I'm trying to make sure my mom doesn't have to work versus my mom already does not work, I think those are wildly two different takes on people. Now, I understand, I get trying to win a championship, not going for more money, not leaving and going in the transfer portal. I agree with you 100%. There's a line of win is enough. I think that is a very fair statement to make. But to say, oh, I don't need any of that. Well, he's also making more money than anybody else on Texas.
Well, yes, but what I'm saying is that how many kids in college football, regardless of whether they're millionaires or not, will get offered money and be like, nah, I'm good. at the age of 21 years old.
I think not a ton of them, but again, I think Arch is in a very different world than a lot of those people.
Well, maybe, but Michael Taft is in a different world than all of those people, and I don't know that he would have done that. It's just I think it's very refreshing, because every other thing that I see on social media is like Texas A&M wide receiver signs massive new contract to stay with Texas A&M. And it's this is just gross.
Yeah, A&M and USC have been doing that now, of really leaning into it, of like, we get that this is what kids want right now, so we're going to lean into it. And everyone hates it because it just sucks. It just sucks seeing. But I do appreciate that Arch is trying to, more than anything else, I don't care if he takes the money or not. I care that he wants to win a championship. And he understands to win a championship, this is much easier for other people to come in and, get those extra transfers and get maybe an offensive line so he can go number 1 in the draft next year. All of those things are, long-term goals for what you want to do. So I appreciate that. Matt, we also go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say it's very Tom Brady and Dirk Nowitzki of him.
Yeah. Also, by the way, Tom Brady's wife was richer than him. Tom Brady was married into millions and millions of dollars. So again, it's easier to do that than when you're trying to support an entire 30-person family. It's a lot harder to do those things. And take and go, well, that $1 million goes a long way. For Tom Brady's like, I guess I won't buy a second yacht this year. It's a little different of the argument, the decision you have to make there. We did see another piece, though. Jack Indries today, it was reported, will play in the bowl game, has opted in to the bowl game, and then will decide his fate afterwards, whether or not he wants to go to the draft. The report did not say portal in there anywhere. It did say whether or not he would go to the NFL or enter into the draft was the report. But it's good to see. He's one of those guys that you think could definitely help his draft stock in this game. It's definitely someone you feel could, continue to go up. His best game was his last game. So if you look at that and say, maybe we can get something going here, you just want to see more of those offensive players opting in for this bowl game and going to play, because it means a big difference that we know there's going to be a lot going on in the defense with so many opt-outs. So on the offensive end of the ball, the more continuity you can have, the better.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would think it would be a little bit premature for him to head to the draft, even if he has a great game against Michigan. I think that he would have a real opportunity to up his draft stock with a more, consistent offense next year where he's a bigger piece of it.
Yeah.
But I could have said the same thing about DeAndre Moore. So if he feels that he's ready to go, that's him, and that's his decision. I think Texas would still be in really good hands at the tight end room with, Nick Townsend and Amari Winston. And then you probably go find one in the portal or something. But at the end of the day, it's and Jordan Washington as well. Let's not forget Jordan Washington. So they've got a lot of tight ends. I think Jack Indries could be a real star in this offense next year, though. Yeah. And instead of being a 4th or 5th round draft pick, he could potentially be a 2nd round draft pick next year.
Yeah, and that's what I think the thing is his ceiling is around a 2nd round draft pick. I don't think he's going to be a 1st round draft pick, because it's really hard to be a tight end 1st round draft pick. Not a shot at him. You have to be truly an elite level, generational kind of guy to be valued as a top pick, or then you could be a back end, but usually in the back end teams are drafting some other things. So you're usually falling in to the 2nd round for tight ends. So that's kind of your ceiling. And the question is, where is his floor after the bowl when he decides whether he's going to go in the NFL or stay in college? Is the floor a 5th rounder, or is the floor a 4th rounder? So the floor is a 4th rounder. You feel pretty okay that I could go second. I could still go day 2. And if I'm going day 2, I'm going to the NFL. But if I drop to day 3 and I'm probably just in the day 3 guy, maybe I come back to be a day 2 guy. So I get where that is, but it's good news there. But I wanted to get into a little bit of what we heard about Muschamp today. We got a little bit more info because yesterday we were kind of writing that the news came out an hour or so before our show, and then I hopped on with Chip and Zay. So we were just kind of dealing with it in real time yesterday. Sark spoke to the media today, Matt, and did line up a little bit more of why the decision was made and what we can somewhat expect. First off, in the bowl game, it will be Johnny Nansen calling the plays for the bowl game. So basically, Jabbar Jalouk, he says, will be the running backs coach for the bowl game. He has already been in there. But then PK will be, Johnny Nansen. They're basically like, we can't implement a new system or expect Will Muschamp to call a different system. So since Nansen's already there, then we're just going to have him call the plays. He's done it before. So it'll be interesting to see how different that looks. It will be the same defense that they have already had in all season, but it'll be called by a different guy. So that one, I think, was the first kind of interesting puzzle piece of what they're going to do, Matt.
Yeah, I don't know how to feel about this. I mean, somebody's got to do it. I guess who better to do it than Johnny Nansen? He's been a defensive coordinator before, like you said. He's very familiar with the defense. Maybe he'll do things a little bit differently than PK would in terms of how aggressive he's going to be or what kind of coverages he's going to use. But I think for the most part, working within the system that everybody is used to, and then letting Will Muschamp kind of sit there and observe and figure out what he's working with in a live game atmosphere, I think will be important. And you can use Will Muschamp to help you game plan and help you come up with different schemes and different looks and those kinds of things. But when it comes down to the verbiage of the defense, I think Johnny Nansen is the natural choice to make those calls, and I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, exactly. Will Muschamp's already on campus. He's already talking to players. He's already there. So he will be involved in it, but Johnny Nansen calling it. And again, we talk about the green dot and just communication of going in. It is somebody you know, not somebody you met. You know, and a lot of these guys know Will Muschamp because he was at Georgia and he recruited them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so a lot of these guys do know Will Muschamp, at least from recruiting, because Georgia and Texas recruit against each other on a lot of these top names. So they do know who he is. But for this game, it just makes sense to have Johnny Nansen do it in the bowl. But then we also heard, you know, one of the reasons why, you know, basically Sark was asked straight up, was defense really the thing you thought was the big problem with the year? Is that the big problem? And Sark said, no, there was lots of problems. There was plenty of things, but we felt that the offense trended the right direction during the season and the defense didn't. And I think that's fair. Now, the last game of the season, PK dialed it up against Colin Klein and the Aggies like he has done it multiple times. He had a very good game plan for that, and they played A&M very tough. Outside of that, the Vanderbilt collapse, the Florida game, even you could say allowing all those points to Mississippi State to have the comeback, all those games maybe trended in the wrong direction. And then someone did bring up as well, not having the guys ready to go when you had a couple of injuries and the coaches on the field being off. And he was like, yeah, that is something that we need to fix. That needs to be fixed. So a lot of those pieces, it felt like not throwing PK under the bus, but saying, yeah, the defense maybe was going the wrong direction at the end of the season. And so we knew that our defense was mostly holdovers from last year. We still had Manny Muhammad. We still had Michael Taft. We still had Anthony Hill. We still had Colin Simmons. We had a lot of guys that we thought were ready to go day one. And for it to not be still as good as it was last year or better, that felt wrong. Where on the offensive side of the ball, we knew we were doing a fresh start. We knew we had a new quarterback, 4 new offensive linemen, multiple new receivers, new tight end. Like we knew there was a work in progress on the offensive side of the ball. But defensively, we felt should have been the thing that carried us. And by the end of the season, it wasn't anymore.
Yeah, I mean, there was something that went wrong defensively. I'm not like, I can't really put my finger on it in terms of like what happened with the miscommunications on the back end. Because it was the passing defense that really took a hit over the last few weeks of the season. I think part of that was due to the nature of what PK was trying to do in terms of playing a lot of zone defense and playing a lot of soft coverage and allowing them to kind of dice you up underneath so you didn't allow an explosive play, and not being aggressive enough in the right situations because you didn't feel like your corners were able to hold up enough in man coverage. I don't want to say that Sark is throwing PK under the bus necessarily, but I think that he realized that he just needed to do something. He needed to approach things differently. The best defenses in the SEC, Georgia, Oklahoma, teams like that have a really aggressive front seven. They play with 4 down linemen. They rush the passer, and they play a lot of man coverage and do those. It allows you to be more aggressive in that way. PK he operated like a Big 12 defense or a Pac-12 defense when he was at Washington. He did a lot of the 2-4-5 defense with 2 linemen and 4 linebackers and 5 defensive, like stuff like that. That's all going to be out the window. And I think that you needed to make a change in terms of physicality and aggressiveness if you're going to compete in the SEC in the long term, and if you're going to be able to beat teams like Ohio State and Georgia, and next season maybe LSU or Tennessee or whoever else you have on your schedule. It's a different way of doing things, and I think it's okay to get a fresh start and a fresh perspective and a fresh way of doing things. After you've done the same thing for 5 years and it hasn't worked, then do something that you think maybe could work. And that's kind of what Will Muschamp brings to you. He's also such a brilliant defensive mind. Like he's spent almost his entire career under Nick Saban and Kirby Smart, and he's learned from the best. And he takes little pieces of Nick Saban and little pieces of Kirby Smart and little pieces of his own, and he molds it all together into a different product. And I think it's going to work. I really do. And I think Texas already has the pieces defensively in terms of, the players to make what he wants to do work very quickly. And I think that's extremely important.
Yeah, that's the thing is, and I get what you're saying here, the dog, that both sides of the ball, but I will say the point that I think was true was the offense progressed, the defense regressed. So from week 1, the offense was really not ready, and it was a project, but the offense by the end of the season, the offensive line still wasn't there, but they figured it out, and they were continuing to improve by week, which you knew was going to be a bit of a learning curve. We were hoping it wouldn't be as big of a learning curve as it was, but it was a big learning curve. Defensively, though, you returned multiple All-Americans. You didn't really, and then you added in Grayson Littleton, who was good. You added some other good players. So while you did lose players, you kept so many good players on that defense. You didn't expect it to be a liability at times this season, and it was a liability at times this season. So I think that was kind of where he goes. That's where you do it. We'll also throw in, they had talked to Muschamp multiple other times. And basically the runaround way of saying it was, Will Muschamp had a kid in high school, and he wanted to watch him play football. So it was not the right time to move to Texas. He wanted to stay in Georgia. He wanted to stay where he was at. And last year, one of the reasons why he took off being a defensive coordinator was to spend more time with his son and watch his son play all his games and be there for his son. So that was one of the reasons. He feels now it's time to go back to being a coach. And so this is something that they've talked about and wanted to do for a while. This is not something new, because we look at it and say the connection between Sark and Will Muschamp isn't a straight line. You have to go through Nick Saban. But Nick Saban's name was mentioned several times in this, that he's like, no, this is who Nick, basically what I believe you can take away from this today, Matt, and tell me if I'm wrong. When Sark talked to Nick Saban after taking the Texas job, Nick Saban told him, go get Will Muschamp. And that wasn't possible at the time. But it feels like that was a conversation that has been had between Sark and Nick Saban multiple times. Well, you know who you need? You know the best defensive coordinator is in football right now? Will Muschamp. You should go get him. He's the best defensive coordinator. You heard a lot of that kind of thing where it wasn't so much of, we don't think PK could still be a good defensive coordinator. We think Will Muschamp could be the best. And that's why they wanted to go with him. So that's why they were pushing that a little bit more of today, Matt. Pushing that this is kind of, we've been talking to him a while and the time wasn't right, but now the time hits right. And so it is not completely that we wanted to move off of PK, but we really, really wanted Will Muschamp.
Yeah, and I think that's an okay thing to bring to the table. Like, we love PK. Nobody at Texas is going to say anything bad about PK or have any regrets about PK being the defensive coordinator for the last 5 years. But when you have an opportunity to upgrade to somebody who is going to kind of bring you forward into the future and be able to defend and call defenses against multiple different kinds of offenses that you're going to like you're going to see next year. I mean, you have 12 games in the regular season. I think you play like 8 different styles of offense. He's got the skins on the wall. Everybody raves about him as being one of the best defensive minds in college football. And like I said, you already have the pieces in place that will allow his defenses to thrive, particularly on the defensive front. One of the things that Will Muschamp likes to do is use a bigger-bodied, almost defensive tackle style guy on one edge. Do you know who the bill fits for that perfectly?
Alex January?
Lance Jackson and Justice Terry.
Yeah, Justice Terry for sure, yeah.
Perfect fits. Colin Simmons is an absolutely perfect fit for him on the other side. Yeah. Derek Williams would have been a great fit in this defense, but we'll see if he changes his mind. I don't know. But you thrive in this defense by being aggressive up front, playing 4 down linemen and being able to be strong and make a push up front and kind of control the line of scrimmage and use edge rushers and use, aggressive man coverage. And those are all things that I mean, they're going to have to make a change in the portal at something in the defensive back area, maybe, or maybe, Kobe Black is a really, and Cade Phillips are really good fits for what Will Muschamp likes to do. He's going to get a really good look at those guys. And I think that he's going to help them game plan. Like, okay, I would like to see them do a few of these things in this game so I can see what I have here.
And let's not forget, Will Muschamp already knows some of these boosters and donors here in Texas who like the man and were part of the reason why he was named coach in waiting. And if he says we may need a little bit more money, few more dollars, guys, to go get a guy that would really, really cement this defense being great next year, Will Muschamp might be able to make that phone call. So I think there's a lot of those pieces. The final big piece I heard from today was the last piece, which this one probably was the closest to throwing PK under the bus that there was. Again, I don't think he really did. I think he was really trying not to, because anytime you fire somebody, it's hard to say, well, they didn't do anything to be fired. It's just hard to do that. But he was trying his best to do that. Was basically saying, that's our new defensive head coach in Will Muschamp. I can trust him to do everything on the defense. I don't have to worry about the staff over there. I don't have to worry about the players. I don't have to worry about the play calling. I don't have to worry about the game planning as much. I can go and not use as much of my time that I was with PK to try and put everything together. And during the game, having to continually go over and make sure that the defense is what I want it to be, I can use that more to focus on the offense, which is dual-edged, because some people would rather Sark do focus on both sides of the football. Do focus on offense and defense. Be the head coach. Give up some of that offense to do it. It feels like Sark this year is digging his heels in further. So we'll know after this year that works or not. It feels like he is digging his heels in further of, I'm going to be the offensive guy because that's what they hired me to be. They hired me to be one of the best offensive minds in the country. So I'm going to be one of the best offensive minds in the country, and I'm going to bring one of the best defensive minds out there, and I'm going to be the head coach and offensive head coach, and he's going to be the defensive head coach, and we are going to make this work really well together. But it is not a defensive coordinator. It is a defensive head coach.
Yeah, and I'm okay with that. It allows Sark to focus more on game planning and focus more on, I mean, he said it today. It's like, I can sit down and talk to Arch after an offensive drive and let Will handle the stuff on defense. And I'm okay with that. I think that's good. If it doesn't work, then maybe you can, look at it next year and be like, all right, maybe I need to bring in a play caller. But listen, you're not going to find somebody out there, more than likely, who is capable of doing the things that Will Muschamp is capable of doing on the defensive side of the ball. And it's really hard to imagine that there will be a better pairing of offensive mind and defensive mind in college football together than at Texas next year. And being able for one to focus solely on one side of the ball and one to focus solely on the other side of the ball, I think will be great. Is it ideal? I don't know. I still like the idea of having an offensive coordinator. But hey, if we've learned anything, it is that Sark is extremely confident in his ability to call plays.
Yeah.
And if he can't do it at a high level next year or at a championship level next year, rather, then that is probably your sign. All right, we need to change that too.
Yeah. I think we've now hit the area with this move that is dictated or placed out that whatever it is, unless barring something terrible, let me knock on wood, I'll say barring something terrible, if Texas is not playing for a national championship next season, there's going to be something happening on the offensive end of the ball.
Yes, I think that's fair to say. I think that if it's extremely fair to say, if your offense doesn't perform at a high level against Ohio State,
yeah,
and if you get to an SEC championship against Georgia, the teams that have been your Achilles heel over the last couple of years, if you can't figure out a way to beat those teams and have high level offense, even with Will Muschamp doing all that he's doing on the defensive side, then it is time to have that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's pretty out there now because we've seen this move does not feel like it was necessarily fully Sark. It does feel like it is mostly Sark, but there's pressure. There is a lot of pressure. He does look like a man who's under a lot of pressure right now, who is not happy not being in the playoff, who is trying to hold it together to get through the Citrus Bowl because he really wants to get to next season.
Mm-hmm.
If Sark could press fast forward and it be the Ohio State and it be week 1 of college football next year, that would be the happiest Sark could be. You go, I'll miss my baby's first steps if we could just get to week 1 next year. I need to get to week 1, man. I need to get to week 1.
I also want to say about throwing PK under the bus or, whatever anybody else wants to say about PK. Let's remember that against Florida, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Arkansas, Texas gave up an average of 34 points. That's not championship level.
No.
Obviously, something went wrong. And,
yes, man, it's a thing.
And I think that is a good indication that maybe things were trending the wrong way, because it's not like you had Michael Taff against Florida. You had Michael Taff against Arkansas and against Georgia. He missed 2 of those games. Like, you can't blame it all on that. And I think that, like, when people sit here and say, well, Michael Taff was hurt, it's like that is kind of more of an indictment on PK than anything else. Because if your defense can't hold together and communicate and make sure everybody's in the right place without a player in the football game, I think that's an issue.
Yeah.
And I can guarantee you that Will Muschamp won't let that happen.
No, that's why it happened. But it was nice Sark came out and talked to the press today. They realized they had to do it. As far as other coaches coming in, other coaching changes. He was asked kind of about that happening, and he was like, look, there's not really a time for us to do it after January 1st because the portal opens January 2nd. So it doesn't feel like you're seeing a lot more changes. Now, could they bring somebody else in on that defense if Will Muschamp has a guy? Yes. 100% they could.
I think they will.
And I think they will too, because right now, Will Muschamp is taking over the secondary. But I would assume that they're going to bring somebody else in there. He's actually worked with Mark Orphy before. He was a GA with him at South Carolina. So they do know each other. They, Sark still spoke very well of Johnny and Lealon Clark and Kenny Baker. Like, he spoke very highly of all those guys. So it feels like no one else is getting let go, but you may see some other guys walk away. That happens every year as well. But it feels like the coaching carousel for the most part is kind of already happening. And so we would have seen some of these names already happen because we're not in the playoffs. So,
the name that I heard from just some reports that I've seen is Travaris Robinson, who is currently the co-defensive coordinator and safeties coach at Georgia. Is somebody that they're going to potentially look at that is a Will Muschamp guy.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not complaining about anybody from Georgia.
He was also with Will Muschamp at South Carolina and at Auburn.
That also would make sense if he wants to bring a Georgia guy. That Georgia guy is not going to do anything until after the playoffs, or until he's out of the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
So they can go, look, we don't need to hire you right away. We're fine, and then once you get knocked out of the playoffs, we'll come back and we'll talk.
Well, I think that's also why Sark, when he was asked if he anticipated any more changes to the staff, like imminently or whatever, he said no, not right now. And I think what that means is probably there's an assistant or two that is currently in the playoffs that they are looking really, really hard at. Just my personal opinion.
Yeah. And Joe, I don't think he threw him under the bus. Because I think you can. And I think a lot of other coaches have thrown coaches under the bus and said, we would have won more games if it wasn't for this guy. When asked point blank, was defense a problem? He said no. There was a lot of problems. It was one of the problems, but it was not the sole problem. He was like, look, there were a lot of problems with the team last year. So he wasn't just saying the reason we didn't make the playoffs is PK, and that's why he's out of here, which would be throwing him under the bus. Hell, Hugh Freeze saying the reason I got fired was Jackson Arnold is more of throwing under the bus than what Sark did to PK. And I think PK is going to have a great career afterwards. From what we hear, Michigan's going to hire Brent Venables away from Oklahoma. That's the rumor I'm hearing now, Matt, that all the Oklahoma staff's leaving and they're transferring all the players out there. Just trying to mess with Sooner Cowboys. Throw them off on a Friday afternoon. Matt, before we go to break, I did want to do this. We don't have to rush it, but I did want to go through this because we teased it a few times this week and we haven't done it yet. But I think this will cover us for the next 15 minutes. I want to rank the quarterbacks in the college football playoffs.
Oh, joy. I was writing this down while you were talking earlier and adjusting my list a little bit.
Okay, so I have my list that I made the other day. Joe, I'll tell you this about Muschamp. Muschamp won a national title in 2021 and 2022, right? Or 2022 and 2023 with Georgia as a DC.
Mm-hmm.
He has won 2 national championships in the last 5 years. So the one he won in 2003 before we got him, it's not there. We should have been in a national championship before that in 2008, I think, with Will Muschamp. Like, I think Will Muschamp still does that.
I think that's, and I'm not coming at you, Joe. I just think that that's very short-sighted. I think if anything, Will Muschamp was a little bit ahead of his time when he was at Texas, and that the stuff that he liked to do then will still work now.
Yeah.
And I think that he's also adjusted what he does to a certain extent by being on a coaching staff with Kirby Smart and taking little bits and pieces from that. And I can promise you it's going to work. Like if there is a hire outside of head coach that I have been the most confident about that Steve Sarkeesian has made over the last 5 years, it's Will Muschamp.
No, I think he's like what we've seen him do at Georgia. He has been great. His ex players talk about him remarkably glowingly. Every ex Longhorn is like, oh my God, this is great. He is the best defensive coordinator. Like he's the best defensive mind that I've ever worked with, and that includes the NFL. So there's some people very excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's rank these quarterbacks, Matt. Let's get off. I want to start off. We'll start. Do you want to start at 1 and then we'll go to 12? Or do you want to start at 12 and go to 1? All right. We start at 1. Do we have the same guy, the Heisman Trophy winner?
Yes.
Fernando Mendoza. He won the Heisman Trophy. It feels like it's a kind of given that we got to put him in number 1 right here. Is number 1 is Fernando Mendoza. And then number 2, I have the other guy who went to New York and Julian Sain.
Yes, that's what I have. I have Mendoza number 1, and I have Sain number 2. Julian Sain is also.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry,
I was going to say Julian Sain is also the number 1 quarterback, number 1 graded quarterback per PFF. Fernando Mendoza is the number 3 graded quarterback per PFF.
Okay. So I would say those 2. And then for 3, it was where I think you could go a couple different ways. And I looked at some other lists. I saw different people at number 3. I think there's 2 guys you could go with here at number 3 and number 4. But I think there's a 3 and 4, and then, like in the groups. So I'll see if we're on the same page on the 3 and 4. My number 3 is Trinidad Chambliss. The way he's played this season, he has put Ole Miss in that group. I think that I put him slightly ahead of Dante Moore, but I think that those are 3 and 4 for me.
Yeah, I have Dante Moore number 3. He's the number 2 graded quarterback per PFF.
Okay.
And I have actually have Trinidad Chambliss number 5.
Ooh, you have Trinidad. So I have him at 3. I think Trinidad Chambliss, what he's done this season, he has just been really, really electric on that Ole Miss team. So I have him as my number 3 guy. But Dante Moore is right there as number 4. Who did you go with as your number 4 then? Because I'll see if that's my number 5.
I went with Gunnar Stockton.
Okay, that's my number 5. Yeah.
He's the number 6 graded quarterback in PFF. Like I'm putting them in order of. When I say PFF grade, I'm like in order of where they finish in the regular season PFF grade among these 12 quarterbacks. But I have Gunnar Stockton number 4. I think he's playing tremendous football right now. And if there's a quarterback that I'm the most afraid to face, I think in the college football playoff, he's number 2 or number 3.
He's up there because he is a just win guy. He is a figure it out, not the most physically gifted guy, but just so like he is scary. So I'm with you. I think that those are the top 5. I think we're agreed. Those are the top 5 pretty cut off, those 5 guys. And there starts to be more questions once we go past 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like all 5 of those could win a national championship, and it wouldn't surprise you.
Yeah.
So then we go to 6. And 6 is where it starts to open up a little bit more, where you're talking about what are you judging on? Because none of these guys have complete seasons. I think after this, I think they all kind of have ups and downs after 5. That some of them had some bad games, some bad halves, some bad, they just moments in there. I think after 5, where Gunnar maybe started off, but then like he's been pretty consistent. My number 6 is Marcel Reed. I think he had a really, really good year up until the end. So I'm going to put him at number 6, what I think he's capable of doing. But again, a lot of these guys, it's like, well, if they get pressured, pretty much everyone now, if they get pressured past 5, I don't know if they're the same guy.
I've got Marcel Reed number 7, so okay. I think we're pretty close.
Okay, who's your number 6?
I think that he has something that most of the other quarterbacks on this list don't have, and that is electric breakaway speed with his legs.
Yeah.
And of all the quarterbacks in the field, he probably has the number one or number two ability to beat you with his legs. So, but I've got him number 7 just because I don't fully believe in him as a consistent passer.
I don't believe in any of these guys fully past number 5. So who's your number 6 then?
I have Ty Simpson number 6.
Okay, that's surprising. It was not Ty Simpson's my number 8.
Yeah, I just think that Ty Simpson has been exposed a couple of times, but when he is on and when he is being protected, he is as good as the top 3 in terms of accuracy and ability to push the football downfield and make NFL throws and those kinds of things.
I agree with you wholeheartedly that Ty Simpson was higher on my list, and he slipped just because the last few weeks against good defenses, he just it feels like he's a little beat up, feels like he's not 100% right now, and it feels like Alabama as a whole is not 100%. And so you're just like, who's going to show up tonight? Who is going to show up? I think Ty Simpson, talent-wise, is the number 6 quarterback. Like 100% talent-wise. He may be higher than Gunnar Stockton, maybe like if he's playing his best football. But he just hasn't lately, so he fell down to 8 for me. I also had Baron Morton there at 7 because I think Baron Morton, other than the injury, has been really good all season long. He's not elite, but he's been really good in what Texas Tech needed all season long. So I have him in my number 7. Where do you have Baron Morton at?
Also, I want to point out Ty Simpson is the 7th rated quarterback per PFF on this list.
Okay.
Marcel Reed is number 11 on this list in terms of PFF grade. And PFF grade doesn't mean everything. It's just, interesting to think about because I think it matters the most when you get to my number 12.
Yeah.
I have Carson Beck at number 8.
Oh, I dropped him to 9.
And I was going back and forth with him and Baron Morton.
Yeah.
I just think that, and maybe this is just the quarterback guy in me. Yeah. Like I'm very much a quarterback purist, and it's the thing that I pay attention to the most in football and the thing that I study the most in football. He is the most impressive thrower of the football from mechanics and arm strength and like accuracy and different angles and all this different stuff that I think is in this field.
Okay.
The problem is when he gets pressured and he gets a little flustered, he can make a ton of mistakes.
Yes. And I think that's for me, the Carson Beck thing is, I don't know if I don't trust Ty Simpson or Marcel Reed or Baron Morton in big moments because I haven't seen him yet. I have seen Carson Beck in big moments, and he is shrinkage man, getting out of the pool. And it ain't what it used to be when he plays in those big games.
Yeah, and I've got Morton number 9. It was like 8A, 8B for me.
Yeah.
I don't think Morton is as gifted as a passer as Beck, so that was kind of
I get you in that.
The rub for me, but you could flip flop him either way. Baron Morton doesn't make the same kind of mistakes, and he's a lot more efficient with the football than Carson Beck is. And he can run a little bit too. So
all right. Let's see if do we have the same number 10? Do we have the same?
Probably
number 10?
not.
I have Jake Retzlaff at number 10.
We don't have same number 10.
Okay, who's your number 10?
I have Alonzo Barnett from James Madison. And let me tell you why, Patrick.
Okay.
This guy threw for 2,533 yards and 21 touchdowns. He also ran for 544 yards and 14 touchdowns. He's accounted for 35 total touchdowns this season. He is everything on that football team for them. Offensively.
He is.
And obviously he hasn't faced the same level of competition. Obviously he hasn't had to go up against a Georgia defense or a whatever defense in the SEC or the Big Ten, Ohio State, whatever. But in terms of like an ability to affect the game, I think that he's worthy of being mentioned on this list is not last just because he's a James Madison quarterback. I think he's really talented.
No, I could believe that. I mean, I think Jake Retzlaff is also an interesting guy he's 16 rushing touchdowns. He can use his legs as well. Definitely somebody who can get the ball out and get what they need done at Tulane. So I think that's I have Jake Retzlaff there. I think he's a really good player. Who's your number 11, Matt?
Jake Retzlaff.
Jake Retzlaff. Yeah, no, I can get that. I get that. He's been a really good player this season. I may have to switch my 11 and 12 right now. I have Alonzo Barnett at number 12. I could go either way on that one. It's really just a lot of disrespect to James Madison that I have, that they shouldn't be in this playoff whatsoever. But yeah, I have John Mateer at number 11.
Well, I have John Mateer at number 12.
I mean, I'm fine with that. Look, this is what I'll give to John Mateer. If John Mateer was playing one of the games against Tulane or James Madison, he would be good in this game.
Maybe.
Because he's good against bad teams.
Yeah. I'm going to give you a couple stats, Patrick. Number one, John Mateer has 12 passing touchdowns this year. Alonzo Barnett has more rushing touchdowns than passing touchdowns. He has almost 3 times as many total touchdowns as John Mateer has passing touchdowns. John Mateer completes 62.1% of his passes. He's got 10 interceptions, which is tied for the most in the field. If you look at PFF grade, which I know is not everything, I've said that multiple times, but if you look at PFF grade, John Mateer ranks 250th in the country in PFF grade if you count FCS teams into that.
Oh my goodness.
He ranks really in like the bottom. He ranks in like the 200s if you account FBS teams into it, or like the top 150. Like he's barely in the top 150. He is not an efficient quarterback. He makes terrible decisions, and I don't think that they use him particularly well because they rely on his legs too much.
Well, because they can't. Well, if your quarterback can't throw it, you got to rely on the legs.
Well. I think they put far too much pressure on his shoulders. Yeah. I think he's an extremely talented guy, but I mean, and I think I said this yesterday or maybe earlier in the week. He's going to make a throw or two in this football game tonight where you're going to be like, oh my God, this guy could be a number 1 NFL draft pick.
He's going to make 7 or 8 that make you think, what the hell was he looking at?
Yeah, he's going to make 7, 8, 9 plays where you're just like, huh? What is he like? Who is this guy? And look, Sooner, I've heard so much bullshit about John Mateer injuries. Like, first it was, the only reason that Texas beat them was because his thumb was still hurt. And then people used the thumb injury for the rest of the regular season. As in, like, if that was the issue against LSU, was that the issue against LSU on like Thanksgiving weekend? Are you going to use that as an excuse in that game?
They're going to use it as an excuse why they lose to Bama tonight.
He threw 3 interceptions in that game. And he had 2 passes that went over like 60 yards on screen passes.
Yeah.
That's why his passing totals were so inflated. He was 14 of 30 against Missouri and threw for 173 yards. He only threw for 138 against Alabama. He had 0 touchdown passes in that win over Tennessee and a pick. He only threw for 159 yards. Like, how long do you really want me to sit here and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, his thumb was hurt"? Because that did not affect him over the last 4 weeks, and anybody that says it did is lying to you. He just doesn't make good decisions, and maybe next year he'll learn to make better decisions. I don't think John Mateer is going to be a bad quarterback forever, but right now he's the worst quarterback in the field, and I'm going to stand on that.
No, look, I think if they had a running game, he'd be a better quarterback. I mean, hell, we've seen it with Ty Simpson.
Yes.
Ty Simpson's not as good of a quarterback without a run game. I'm not putting it all on John Mateer, but with no run game and a somewhat leaky offensive line, he has been trying to be Superman all season, and he is not Superman. And what you saw with Arch Manning, and you've seen with many other quarterbacks, is the ability to learn to not be that and find the right places, get the ball out quick, do that. Then you want to get to where you're at. maybe John Mateer figures that out in the 2-3 weeks and he goes, oh, I get it. Don't try and chunk the ball downfield all the time. I don't think that's the case. I think that's what they want to do. I think that's part of the Arbuckle offense. So you just kind of figure they're going to try and make these big plays because that's what he likes to do.
Yes, but like at a certain point, like the people that are complaining about the thumb or Sooner Cowboys using the excuse of, well, LSU led the SEC in interceptions. That doesn't mean anything when your quarterback is throwing into triple coverage and throwing a pick. Your thumb has nothing to do with that. LSU's ability to cover has nothing to do with that because you were just making the decision to throw it into triple coverage. Against Ole Miss, he had a chance to move the chains on 4th down and continue a drive that had an opportunity to tie the game at the end. And what did he do? He looked at that guy, said, oh no, I know he's going to get a 1st down and it's 4th down, but I'm going to throw it down the sideline into double coverage and it's going to go incomplete, and then Ole Miss is going to win the game.
Yeah, DJ Lagway is also transferring. He's not in this conversation.
DJ Lagway sucks, man.
All right. And this is what I'll tell you, Sooner Cowboys. If ands and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. But the Sooners won't because they aren't. So it is what it is. All right, Matt, we got to take a break. I got to go stir some queso to make sure it doesn't congeal too much. I gotta get stuff ready for the big game, playoffs tonight. We come back. We got Matt's Bourbon Banter. We come back. We've got our picks. We both went 4-2 this week, Matt. We were above 500 this week. We were right past this week. Let's see if we can do it again. We'll go through all that. Talk a lot more about the playoffs happening here. Just a few hours away from playoff football. We will get into all that, Matt, here. Coming back in 2.5 minutes here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed, untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Hi, this is Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations, and all of us at Audiovisual would like to wish you and your family a happy holiday season. This time of year can get a little hectic, so we want to remind you to relax, enjoy the season with your family and friends, and give us a call at 512-255-8678 for all of your home entertainment needs. This is my favorite time of the year. I love the holidays, the music, the decorations, the presents, the whole darn thing. So this year I'm asking all you listeners to help make this a special holiday for everyone. Smiles are contagious and free, so let's give them away like the government gives away your money. Let's high-five strangers on the street. Hold the door for people behind us. Tip your servers more than they've ever been tipped before. Give to a charity, or hell, give to a bunch of charities. If someone does a good job, tell them they did a good job. Pat someone on the butt. Sing in public places just because it feels good. And as always, hug your kids until they beg you to stop. Watch some games with your friends and make love to your wife or your husband. I know there's some women listening too. You can still give us a call at 512-255-8678 if you'd like to get some cool electronics. But more importantly, have a great holiday season and a fucking awesome next year.
Welcome back here to Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open, 512-222-9328. Of course, on the chat, Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. Make sure to throw in some predictions. Predictions for tonight, predictions for the first week of the playoffs. Throw those in. We're going to get to them in just a little bit. It is an open gym, open bar Friday. I'm going to open up another beer here in just a second, but cheers to you if you're drinking with us today. We appreciate you hanging out with us before the playoffs tonight. But every Friday, Matt, we like to get a little classier. You know, let Matt take us to another level of education about maybe something some people may say is a problem, but I don't think it is yet, about what we like to have in our glasses when we're enjoying a nice evening of college football. And Matt gives us his opinion on many different bourbons. We've been doing this for a while now, Matt, so you have gone through many, many different bourbons. What do you have for us this week on Matt's Bourbon Banter?
Well, I forgot to grab the bottle during the break. So I'm going to pull up a picture of the bottle real quick for everybody to put on screen. Let me get that real quick. Where is it? Well, hold on. Sorry.
He's broken it now, guys. He's broken it.
I didn't mean to break it, guys. I really didn't.
It's Friday. Matt's been drinking.
Let me try one more time. Well, you know what, guys?
You can just tell us about it. We'll,
I'm just going to tell you about it. I could go grab it, but I'm just going to tell you about it. I picked Penelope Architect. It is from a company that, it's from a company that I really, really like a lot. Penelope is one of my favorite brands. It is the Penelope Bourbon Company, the distilleries, the MGP. The release date was April in 2022. It's 104 proof. The mash bill is undisclosed, and it's got a nice dark walnut flavor to it, or dark walnut color to it. And it MSRPs for about $60. So it's not one of those ones that, you know, you're going to go out there and break the bank for. Here we go, Patrick, I got the bottle.
Oh, there it is.
There
I was about
to
nice,
beautiful. Yeah, it's good. It's a nice, beautiful blue label there. The nose is a little bit of toasted oak, kind of a citrus to it. Maybe some herbal stuff in there as well. The palate is also very oaky, which I really enjoy. A little bit of, maybe some grape and some other citrus flavors in there. The finish is a little bit smoky, even maybe a little charcoaly. It's pretty dry, but there's a lingering like pecan taste at the end of it too, and also a little bit of oak. It's just one of those ones that, like, you're really not going to find it everywhere, because not everybody carries all of the different brands of Penelope. But if you can find it there, it's not going to be very expensive, which I really appreciate about it. And it's a polarizing taste to some. Penelope cranks it's got a kind of a French oak flavor to it. Penelope cranks their French oak flavor really highly in this one, using French oak finishing staves, a process that was made popular by Maker's Mark 26. But the whiskey doesn't cross into over oak territory either, despite being an incredibly oaky flavor to it. There's no denying the flavor of that, though, and people that love the oak flavor will love this one. And it's not too terribly highly proofed either. It's right around 100 proof, which I really, really enjoy. So it's about a 7 on my scale, which, you could put it kind of a high 6, low 7, but I'm going to choose to give it a flat 7 here. And for some reason, my scale is not loading, but that's right around very, very good to excellent for me. I would highly recommend this one to anybody who enjoys an oaky bourbon and wants to try something a little bit different. This is a good one to have around Thanksgiving as well. It's a great cold weather one, in my opinion. So maybe good with a cigar. I don't know, but go give you a Penelope Architect a try, and I think you're really going to enjoy it.
I like that, man. I like that. Appreciate you giving us some there on the open gym, Matt's bourbon banter. Get us a little bit of class here on a Friday afternoon. We're gonna get to our picks in a second. Joe, just for the record, that's the easy queso, boring queso. That's not what I do, man. There's more process to it. Now there is Velveeta involved, there is Rotel involved, but there is a lot of other steps that go in to making a really good, very spicy, very delicious queso that I have worked on and gotten better at over the years. So you have to do it in the crock pot, put a lot of things in there, get it so, and then kind of build it back up. And I was trying to get it kind of started before the show, let it cook a little bit. It's looking really good right now. So I'm excited to dig into it after the show. But
you might have to send me the recipe for this, Patrick.
Yeah, there's a lot of stat. There's also, I think, 4 jalapenos, 4 serranos, and 2 habaneros in there as well.
Chopped up,
dice them up, cook half with the sausage that I put in there. It's nice hot sausage I put in there. And then you put some just in there as well. You got to put in some real cheese as well. Because you don't want all of just the Velveeta. It's too processed. So you got to do some real cheeses in there too. But you just do all of that. It's very, very good. But I make a ton of it because, you make it and then, we'll come over and everybody will have it for a quarter and then just start drinking and stop eating. So, but I got to get it ready because I don't want to be cooking while the game is on tonight. I want to be able to get it going as we continue to go it. Matt, let's get in to our picks because we're going to pick all 4 of the championship games. So we'll talk about them as we pick them and kind of break them down a little bit more as we got 45 minutes left in the show today. We've got about an hour and 20 minutes or so. I think the game is going to kick off. Sorry. I always say tip off for football and kick off for basketball. I don't know why. My brain is dyslexic in these things that I think about. I don't know why it does it, but that is what my brain does. But we're going to start off with the game tonight, Matt. Alabama at Oklahoma. We have it at Oklahoma favored by 1.5, basically meaning this game would be favored by whoever was the home team. This is Vegas says very even matchup. So whoever's the home team was going to get the rub on this one. It started with Alabama as a favorite. Oklahoma is now the favorite at 1.5. Matt, what do you like about the game tonight? Even though we've been talking a lot of trash about John Mateer, now is the part where you come back and you say all the nice things.
Here's the thing. I think that Oklahoma's defense is good enough to win them this football game. And I think Joe's right. If John Mateer can play a clean game, then Oklahoma has an excellent opportunity to win it. I just don't know that John Mateer has the ability to carry this football team if they need him to, which, especially on a big stage that he's never been on before, which is why I'm going to lean Alabama. I'm picking Bama to cover. I'm picking Bama to win. I do think it's going to be close. I just think that John Mateer, given everything that we've seen over the last few weeks, is going to make a critical mistake in this football game. And if Bama can avoid the turnovers themselves, then I think that they win. That's going to be easier said than done because I think Oklahoma has a really good defense. Yeah. But if Bama plays a clean football game, they win this game. I think if Oklahoma plays a clean game, it's still going to be very hard for them to win this game. So I'm leaning Bama.
Yeah, I'm going Bama as well. This is a game where Oklahoma has the most elite thing in this game, which is their defense. Alabama's offense or defense is not elite, but they're both average out to a higher total score. If you're going to manage a score and go out of a score of 100, 50 for offense, 50 for defense, Oklahoma's defense is like a 49, but their offense is maybe a 25 at best. And you figure that Alabama's a 35-40 on both sides of the football. They're still really good football team on both sides. So this does come down to who turns the ball over more, who makes mistakes in crucial moments. Ty Simpson has been that team. Ty Simpson has been that guy who has been making mistakes recently, but John Mateer has consistently made those mistakes. I don't know if Oklahoma can keep a lead with John Mateer on the field. I don't know if they can keep picking up first downs to run the clock the way they would need to with the run game. And I feel like Alabama could be able to come back a little bit more, which is why I'm going to give them the edge. I also think they're both good coaches. Brent Venables is a hell of a defensive mind. Kalen DeBoer is a hell of a coach too. So I think it's very, very close in this game. But because they've already played once this season, I'm going to give it to Bama to say, I think you'll figure it out. You'll know how to get to Mateer a little bit better. You'll know how to defend against that. It's going to be crazy, the matchups. What Brent Venables throws is going to be a lot of fun to watch tonight with this Oklahoma defense. But I'm going to say Bama for this one as well, just because I think twice in a season, it's really hard to win. We saw it with Bama and Georgia. Kirby Smart came out, and who has had tons of problem with Alabama. And he had no problem in the second matchup. I don't think it'll be like that, but I do think that the second time is going to be it's going to be square. It's going to spin towards Alabama. All right, 11 a.m. Still don't know why you schedule this game at 11 a.m. Like for college. This is again TV doing TV things and not doing things for college football, which is put this game at 7 p.m. And I get that gives the Aggies a huge advantage. I don't care. It's the best game. Put it on at 7 p.m. The best game tomorrow, at least I'll say. Miami and Texas A&M. A&M favored by 3.5 there, Matt.
So you've got it at 3.5.
I did. I had it at 3. I put the capper on it because I didn't want us to push on it.
Okay. Then I'm changing my pick. If this was a 3-point spread, I would have taken Texas A&M. 3.5, I'm taking Miami, and here's why. I think this is going to be a really tight defensive matchup. I think that both teams do things that give the other team trouble on both sides of the ball. Miami is littered on that team with a bunch of NFL dudes. I think that Texas A&M is also littered with a bunch of NFL dudes, and I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag out, punch you in the mouth kind of football game. I think Le'Veon Moss is going to play tomorrow, which I think gives a huge advantage to Texas A&M because that is their best runner by a mile. It's no disrespect to Ruben Owens or anybody else on that team, or any of those other running backs, but Ruben Owens or
you're right. You're just stating facts.
Yeah, Le'Veon Moss is just better. I think that the final score of this game is going to be a field goal.
Okay.
I think that if Texas A&M has to rely on a field goal to win it, they're not going to be in good shape. But I think that they're going to do enough, and they're going to hold Miami out of the end zone on the final drive of the game. So I'm taking Miami to cover the 3.5, and I think A&M wins like 20-17.
Okay. We're in agreement on one thing. Texas A&M is going to win. I'll say that they cover the spread. As much as I don't trust the Aggies, I trust Mike Elko more than I trust Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the issues of what would catch up with a Texas A&M team in an 11 a.m. game, getting too hyped up and everything else, is also going to be exactly the same problem for Carson Beck. Like, I think that that little window that Miami would need to win this game is in that first quarter and a half. Miami has to jump out and play really good football to start. They have to terrorize Marcel Reed early. But I think A&M will settle in, and with Le'Veon Moss, if he plays in this game, it changes it to where they now have a running game, and you have to respect that. And that opens the world up for Marcel Reed so much more than it was when Le'Veon Moss was out. So I think with Le'Veon Moss in, I'll say that this is a different Texas A&M team. I still don't think it's a big, but I'll give them more than 3. So I'll say 4-7. I think the score is what they win by. But being at home, having all those pieces, I just do not believe in this Miami team. I believe in the Miami defense. I believe in some of those Miami players, but I don't believe in the team as a whole. And maybe they prove me wrong tomorrow. Could definitely be wrong, but I'm going to go with Texas A&M on that one. By the way, I'm up by 3, 43-40, so I have to give you something to get in there too.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that there could be something that could be said about Texas giving Miami the blueprint to stop A&M.
I agree. I agree with that 100%. But I think with Le'Veon Moss, that blueprint's different.
It is. I'm talking about like offensively for Miami against A&M, and then slowing down Marcel Reed. But you're right; it does change the math of the equation.
All right, let's hit Tulane at Ole Miss. 17.5 points, Matt. This is a college football playoff game. John Summerall, 1 foot out the door, going to take his headset off, probably not even catch the flight, go catch a different flight to Florida, have his stuff mailed to him. He doesn't need to go back to Tulane after this game. We both have Ole Miss winning, but do they cover the spread?
Don't let the Rebs get hot. If they get hot, this is going to be one of the best teams in the field. They're going to win this game by 30. I got Ole Miss covering.
Oh, Scholarship Bert. Scholarship Bert's the reason why Miami's losing. It's going to come down to a field goal, Matt. It's going to come down to a field goal, and they're going to have to send Bert Auburn out there.
Yeah.
And every Texas fan will be like, oh, man, you guys are in for it. You better be able to throw a 4th and 90 touchdown pass to Matthew Golden to stay in this game. I know Bert Auburn is not even the kicker, but I'm saying there's an injury. I had to throw in there was an injury for Bert Auburn to come in. So you got Ole Miss covering. Look, I'll give you a chance on your alma mater to come back. I'm going to say Tulane in this one. I think Tulane is a decent football team. I think they're going to play for pride. I think Ole Miss is going to have a little bit of problem early in this game because there's just going to be so much random BS around it. And once they start playing football, they'll be fine. But I think early, there's just going to be so much up in the air about everything. And, going out there and then the crowd yelling at them, and then the people holding up signs that are Ole Miss people holding up signs. They're like, we don't need Kiffin. And they're like, but I kind of like Lane Kiffin, but he's not. I think that's going to just maybe put a little bit on them that once they start playing, they'll be fine. So I'm going to hold Tulane holds it to between 10 and 17.5, but I'm going to take the whole 17.5. But I think it'll be a double-digit score win. But I'll give it that they keep it to like 2 scores and make it at least like or John Summerall, whatever, like for all group of 5 teams gets like 2 garbage touchdowns.
Yeah,
just
maybe
just to push it back and go, no, see, group of 5s, man, it wasn't that bad.
See, this is why Lane Kiffin is letting all of those coaches coach for Ole Miss in the playoff.
Yeah, because LSU is going to pay him his bonuses.
Yes, and I think it also should be noted, John Summerall invited Lane Kiffin to the game to sit in his coach's box.
Oh.
I think he said no, but that would have been hilarious.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, Lane Kiffin's like, oh, let me go sit in the box where you're a Florida guy now. And there's going to be Florida people around me just being like, hey, you're only here because we want to get information. We're about to play you guys in LSU because we're Florida. Yeah, it's silly. All right. That leads us to our final playoff game, Matt. James Madison at Oregon, 20.5 points. Just under 3 scores for this one. James Madison at Oregon. James Madison, who should not be in this playoff. There's no excuse for it. I get it's the bylaws and everything else. There is no reason why James Madison should be in this playoff. 0. There's absolutely none. Miami should be the ACC representative, and we should be able to get on with our day. I'll deal with Tulane, but let Miami be in there and give us one more at-large bid. I get it would be Notre Dame. I don't care. It would at least make one of these games better and give me 3 games to watch instead of 2. So
how much better would Oregon and Notre Dame have been, man?
How about Notre Dame and Ole Miss, Texas versus Oregon?
Yeah.
How about those games to start off college
football?
I'd be in Eugene
right now.
Yeah, and no, but we'd all be super hyped. Everyone would be like, holy crap, these matchups are amazing. But no, we get Tulane and James Madison. Hey, prove us wrong, guys. Prove us wrong, group of 5. Keep it within 20. Prove us wrong. All right, 20.5 there. James Madison at Oregon.
I think Oregon could possibly win this game by 50. I think they'll probably win it by 31, 28 or 31. So I've got them covering.
I think that Dan Lanning will realize at halftime he should probably not run the score up as much as he's going to when it's like 35-0 at halftime. And he's going to realize, guys, as much as I would love to prove a point here, I do want to rest some of you guys because we do have more playoff games to win. So I think they'll pull off the gas a little bit and win by 30.
Okay.
But we both have Oregon. Again, James Madison should not be in this. I get they're not a terrible football team. They also should not be in the playoffs. They just shouldn't be.
They might beat BYU.
Tulane, it might have been, but I've been fine with BYU. It wouldn't have been a fun game to watch, but it's better than the old James Madison.
They couldn't beat Louisville. They couldn't stay within 2 scores of Louisville.
I mean, BYU at least has a shot. BYU's like, oh, if they throw some picks, they play bad, they're not ready for you. BYU's got a shot to win that game. But no, we get James Madison. All right, couple of NFL picks real quick, Matt. We'll talk some Cowboys and some Texans as well here. Packers at the Bears, big matchup here. No Micah Parsons. This one's big in the NFC. Bears are favored by 1.5. What do you like?
With no Micah Parsons, I have a really hard time believing is this game at Chicago?
At Chicago.
I have a really hard time believing.
By the way, Chicago may become Indiana. Apparently, that whole deal they were going to do for a stadium, the mayor there was like, "Yeah, you're not a priority." So now they're looking at other places, including Northern Indiana, for the Bears stadium.
Wow. I'm going to go with the Bears.
The Bears and Ben Johnson to take down the Packers. You know what? I've given you 2 already that I've done different. I'm going with the Bears as well. This is a really, really big game for the Packers because it is post Micah Parsons. There are some questions about everything that's been happening. If they can win this one, it makes them feel a little bit better going into the playoffs. They feel all right. I know Chip Brown is really, really rooting for the Bears, which is weird because but the Lions need the Bears to lose, or the Packers to lose. Lions need the Packers to start tanking. So they're going to be rooting for that one. And our last pick of our 6 picks, Matt, in week 18, I counted the weeks we've done. 18 weeks so far of picks. Week 18, Patriots at the Ravens. Ravens favored by 3. No respect for the Patriots. They lost to the Bills last week. Now they play the Ravens, trying to hold on to any hope of winning that division, hope of making the playoffs for the Baltimore Ravens. They're favored by 3 at home. What do you like in this game?
What are our scores right now?
I have 43. You have 40. I'll tell you what. I'll pick whatever the other side is.
No, you don't have to do that.
I'll pick whatever side.
No, we've got multiple more weeks of this, Patrick. We don't have to. You don't have to give that to me. I'm taking the Patriots just because I don't believe that the Ravens are going to be able to get it done. The Patriots have been playing really good football. The Ravens have been extremely inconsistent, and I think the Patriots are one of the best teams in football. I really do. So I'm gonna go with them.
I think the Patriots are a really good football team, and it would not surprise me at all if they win this game. I don't like that they're getting points in this either, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Ravens. I do think that the Ravens are much more in a position of we have to win. We have to win. And the Patriots don't. And I know they're young and they're hungry, and Mike Vrabel is going to get them ready to play, but I do think that the Ravens are a bit more experienced at this, of staying alive. So while I agree with you, they have been wildly inconsistent this season. I'm going to say that the Ravens hold on here and get a win and stay alive for another week. So we do not get a playoffs where Josh Allen walks into the playoffs doing a little dance because guess what? The Ravens and the Chiefs are both out. It's like, man, I had 2 main AFC rivals and they're both not there. All right, time for us to make it to a Super Bowl and lose. But, it's Buffalo. I did like John McClain earlier today was like, he really wanted the Bills versus the Lions of just the tortured fan bases.
Yeah.
Which I do like the tortured fan bases. That is a fun one to do. All right. So that puts us with, we both have Alabama. You have Miami covering, but losing. You have Miami, but you get it. Even if they win, you get it because you got them covering. I have Texas A&M. I'm just saying so people know. I have Texas A&M covering the spread there at 3.5. You have Ole Miss covering 17.5. I have Tulane trying to fight for the G5, trying to hang in there. So they are, I have Tulane covering 17.5. We both have Oregon boat racing, James Madison. We both took the Bears to really put a hurting on the Packers and Ben Johnson to continue his meteoric rise as a head coach. And you took the Patriots. I took the Ravens there in the Sunday night football matchup. There's Saturday night football in the NFL as well, Matt, which is, are you a fan of the Saturday night football or not?
No.
For the NFL, you're like, leave that for Sunday. We don't need it. You don't need to compete. Like, first of all, how funny is it that the NFL once again tried to overstep their bounds to control that we are the main biggest sports fandom and biggest sports viewership in the country. We're going to take it over. What are the Christmas Day games? Christmas Day, which is historically a NBA day, historically a basketball day. The NFL said, screw you, NBA. We're coming onto your turf. What games do they get, Matt? They get the Cowboys and Commanders. They get the Lions and Vikings. And they get the Broncos and Chiefs. Those are 3 non-playoff mattering games for 3 teams. The Cowboys technically, but that game really, it's a Cowboys, but Cowboys Commanders, not a good game. Vikings, no good. Chiefs, no good. So it is a definite piece right there for the Cowboys, or for the NFL, what they got going on. The Cowboys do take on the Chargers this week. We've heard a lot, Matt, about the Cowboys and what their thoughts are on the rest of the season, and they have shut down any talk of Joe Milton coming in, that they're still trying to win football games. They want to go. Deron Bland now out with the foot injury, seeing if Trayvon Diggs comes back this week, or they say neither one of them are going to be playing. Matt Eberflus going up to the box. They're at home against the Chargers. They're favored in this game still, Matt. Can you explain to me why they're favored in this game?
Probably because Vegas is trying to, make a lot of money, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how all that works. Here's what I'll say. As it sits, the Dallas Cowboys are 6-7-1. I have been calling for them to go 8-8-1 for this entire season almost. Their last 2 games are against the Commanders and the Giants, which they will win both of. So I have them losing to the Chargers and finishing the season 8-8-1. And if they thought they were going to have a problem with JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, Justin Herbert's pretty good at football.
Justin Herbert is going to throw for 450. I'm so excited that I have Ladd McConkey in fantasy this weekend. I'm so excited.
All right. The Texans take on the Raiders, Matt. 14.5 point spread on this one. This one, that spread seems a little bit more early meathead on that one. Maurice Jones-Drew picked the Raiders to win in their picks. Why?
Isn't he a former Raider?
I don't care. They're tanking. They don't want to win.
No,
Max Crosby wants to win. Pretty much the only guy who wants to win there. This one, they're 2-12. Texans defense has been playing crazy. Geno Smith may fake an injury in the first half to get out of this game. It is now the Texans have to show up. It's a home game. You got to play well. All the things you got to say about these. But this feels again like the Texans have have what they want in their hands on this one, that they can come out and make a big statement and move up. Because the other game, Matt, that's a big one for the Texans that they'll all be watching in the 3:00 game, because the Raiders Texans will be at 3:25. Across the way in Denver is the Jags and Broncos, and that is a very big game for the Texans because they are a game behind the Jags right now. They need them to lose one. And so you could lose this one to the Broncos, who are 12-2, playing well. They're 3.5-point favorites. You want to see that one, Matt. And then on Monday Night Football, you get the 49ers and the Colts with Phillip Rivers. That if you get the Colts to lose another game, it kind of pushes them further away, that you don't have to worry about it as much. And maybe the Colts then are trying to win their last game against the Jags, and you can get it. But for the Texans, those 3 big games in the AFC South matter a lot.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the Texans' second shutout of the season. I don't think the Raiders are going to score on them. If they do, it'll be single digits. I got the Texans covering and winning this one easy. And I also think the Broncos are going to beat the Jags because the Broncos just don't know how to die. They're last year's Chiefs. They just win every 1-score game no matter what.
Yeah.
You could score a touchdown and take a 6-point lead or a 7-point lead with 1 second left on the clock, and Denver will figure out a way to get the football in the end zone on the ensuing kickoff, and then they will go for 2 and they will win the game. I'm taking the Broncos.
Yeah, I like that one. And then 49ers, 10-4 49ers get another win on Monday Night Football. You know,
yeah, they're going to crush the Colts.
They're 5.5-point favorites there. They're playing in Indy. See if Old Man Rivers can get it going. But those are some big games. Steelers-Lions, also a big game. Both teams 8-6. That one's on Sunday as well. Panthers-Bucks, really big game of 2 500 teams at 7-7, but it matters to who's going to win that division. So lots of really good NFL football on Sunday. That Packers-Bears on Saturday night. I'll probably watch some of that instead of watching Oregon James Madison. Be able to turn that one off 8 minutes into that game. Put on a secondary TV. Keep up with it, but don't have to watch it fully because, you don't have to.
What time is the Ole Miss game?
Isn't that the middle one?
I think, is it like 2:30 or something?
Yeah, I feel like it's on TNT as well.
That's so gross. Why are you putting it on TNT? Now that means
2:30?
I'm probably going to have to get a day pass on like Sling TV or something.
Maybe if you have HBO Max.
Oh, I do have that. Thank God.
So maybe on there as well. So you have to see. I don't know if HBO Max, if that just comes with it all the time, or you have to have a special subscription or whatever that is. But it is that one is at 2:30, Tulane and Ole Miss, TNT, HBO Max, and True TV. So that is where that game is on. ABC and ESPN for Miami and Texas A&M at 11, and then 6:30 is also James Madison, Oregon is also on the TNT, HBO Max, and True TV. So they've put the 2 big games on ABC, and then they gave these 2 crappy group of 5 teams to TNT.
I'm okay with that.
It's such a thing of like, guys, we all know this doesn't matter. Like, it's a playoff game, and we're just sticking it over there. We've stolen inside the NBA from you guys, and so here's your deal. I don't know if that's from the same deal, but they get some crumbs back from it. It's Joe. This is how a lot of people feel right now.
I won't.
I mean,
I'd rather watch anything else than that game.
I don't know if I'll red zone it or watch it, but I'll at least have it on a screen. I'll at least have it on a screen because I do watch all the Cowboys games. I watch all the Texans games.
I'm just so out on the Cowboys this year that
and that's the thing. I've never been a Cowboys fan. I root for the Cowboys because my friends are Cowboys fans, and I'm more the guy who likes my friends to be happy, so I root for those teams. But in reality, I because I've covered them for years. I've talked about them on air for years, and they're an interesting team to talk about. So I watch a lot of their games because of my job. And I've been lucky enough to have a job where watching the Cowboys was part of it. I know some people would say that's unlucky, but as not a fan, they're a fun team to cover.
Yeah, I mean, they're the most entertaining bad team in sports.
What's that bourbon again, Sam?
Penelope Architect.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let's take our second break here, Matt. I'm gonna go stir that queso again. And we'll come back, wrap it up the last few minutes here, giving a little bit more of what we think is gonna happen tonight. Because I just want to get what we think is going to happen tonight, what we think is going to happen tomorrow. So maybe a bold prediction or two, or maybe not even bold, just predictions for what we think will happen. And we've given the spreads, but I think there's a little bit more meat on that bone, Matt. There's probably a little bit more meat. Get it there instead of jumping in a whole new topic with 15 minutes left in the show. I think we can do it.
I think we can do it.
All right, we're going
to
talk
about Texas for 2 hours. We can talk about Oklahoma for 15 minutes.
Without throwing up, man, it's hard. We gotta take our second break. We'll come right back here. Anything else y'all want to hit? Throw it in the chat, throw it in the text line, and we'll hit it before we get out of here on an open gym, open bar Friday afternoon here on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The lager, the Kolsch, those are their two flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
All right, welcome back in to Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. My shirt's getting loose on me. I love it. I'm trying to lose some weight, so I'm working on it. Myself, Peter Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. Of course, you the third member. Anything you want us to hit here in the last 15 minutes, throw it in there on the chat, and we will try and get to everybody here. We always try and get to you. Matt sent me a meathead. I'll save it for Monday. Because I didn't already pull it. I haven't listened to it yet, so I don't know how bad it is. I've got one that's just a fun one. It's a fun one for a Friday going into it. Talking about sports packages there on the chat. Yeah, that's one of the good things about doing sports is you can write off, TV packages. I'll tell you, just had a chip of the queso, Matt. I think I might have nailed it. It's a little spicy, but the group tonight likes it a little spicy. So it's got that good heat. I'm already ready for another bite of it. You want that good heat in there, but I made it the other day, or I made it 2-3 weeks ago, and I put a lot of stuff in it, and it just didn't hit. It wasn't hot enough. Mm-hmm. Like I was eating, I was like, it's got a kick, but it doesn't have the kick that people expect when Patrick Davis makes queso. They expect something that they're like, tomorrow's going to be not fun. We're also making wings, so there's going to be even more of that. It's going to be a lot of spice, but this is the great part about spice, Matt. Makes you drink faster.
It does. I'm going to ask you something, Patrick, and you don't have to say yes. But For Christmas, for my Christmas present, I would like you to send me a detailed queso recipe.
I'll also do some queso. I've told other people. It's not a super hidden recipe.
I just like I love queso. It's one of my top like 3 favorite foods. And I'm very enticed. It sounds right up my alley, so I think I need to try it.
Good. It's good. It's good that you can throw it on some nachos because it's got some meat in it, so it's got the protein in it anyway. Throw it on some French fries, wherever you want to put it on. It's very, very good. But yeah, I can feel it in my mouth still, so I'm good. You want to have that heat. It's still with you a couple minutes later. That's how you know it's really where you want it to be. And you can dial up and dial back the heat on a couple different things in there, especially how many habaneros and stuff like that you put in there. But you want to make it. This is like I have to make this queso differently, Matt, depending on who the party is for and who's hanging out. Like if it's a lot more girls, I tend to dial it down a little bit. Like all right, this is like younger people. You're just like all right. But if it's just a bunch of old grizzled veterans like this is, like Bama Bruce is coming by and those guys, like none of us can feel anything anymore. We've done too much to our bodies in our lives, so we're like, yeah, no, make it burn. Give me something I can feel. Give me that. That's what
I want that version. That's the version I want.
Yeah, no, 4 jalapenos today, 4 serranos, and 3 habaneros.
Is this the version of Memphis that played Tulane within 1 score? Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah. No, it was not surprisingly not a close game I was watching there. I mean, now granted, they did shut out NC State in the second half. I mean, they
lost their head coach. He's at Arkansas now.
No, well, good for them. Good for Arkansas. Matt, so tonight, Alabama, Oklahoma, and tomorrow morning, those are the 2 big games. Do you see anything specifically in those 2 games that really you think stands out more than anything else of what is, we can always say it's a line of scrimmage game. We could always say it's who wants it more. Whoever scores the most points is going to win. We know those sayings, but is there any matchups or anything you're specifically watching in these?
I mean, in terms of matchups, I don't know. I'm really excited to see R. Mason Thomas versus Caden Proctor. I think that's going to be a really good matchup. But honestly, like I said a minute ago, I'm a quarterback guy. So I want to see these 2 quarterbacks go back and forth and see who makes the mistakes first. Because I think that's going to dictate who wins this game. Turnovers are going to dictate who wins this football game. And I think that Ryan Williams is an X factor in this game because if he can finally show up and play the way that he played last year, potentially, and not muff a punt and then maybe make a game-breaking play, then I think Oklahoma is going to be in trouble. Both of these quarterbacks are mistake prone. And I think that is going to be the theme of this game. Which team makes more mistakes?
Do you think either team runs the ball with any sort of effectiveness?
I think that there's a very good possibility. I'm not saying this is going to happen. So Brooks does this thing on his show that I think is really funny, where you make it.
Awesome, by the way, the film guy. Follow him online.
Yes, please follow the film guy. He does this thing on his show. It's called Unless It Doesn't Happen. So it's like a bold prediction unless it doesn't happen. My bold prediction is that both of these teams will combine for negative rushing yards. Unless it doesn't happen.
Unless it doesn't happen. I don't know. I feel like one of them is going to get it going for like a quarter. I feel like one of them is going to get it going for like a quarter in there where you'll just get it going, whether it is quarterback, whether it's like John Mateer just scrambling, or whether it's Ty Simpson all of a sudden breaking outside and gets you but I think like one quarter is going to have one of these teams go off and then it's going to shut back down again. But I just don't feel either team is really going to be able to get going. But I like that bold prediction there. Also, Miami. Yeah, go ahead.
It should be noted that sacks count against rushing yards for quarterbacks in college, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's true.
There could be a few sacks in this game.
It could be. I like that. And what about over there on the Miami Texas A&M game? Ruben Baines is going to be fun to watch in that game for sure. I think Le'Veon Moss is going to be a ton of fun to watch and see what he's able to do. If he's able to take this A&M offense and kind of put it up to the heights that it was getting earlier in the season. What do you think?
I don't want to be the cliche guy necessarily, but I legitimately think that this game's going to be won on the line of scrimmage. Because Texas A&M really struggles against the type of rushing team that Miami is, which is the outside zone gap scheme running attack, and Texas A&M is really good at stopping what Miami does best in the passing game, which is screen passes to Malachi Toney. They're the best in the country at it, in fact. So each of these teams has an advantage over the other that I think is going to be really important. That is within the first 10 yards of the line of scrimmage. I think that the difference is going to be potentially Le'Veon Moss being back, but really I think it's going to be Marcel Reed's legs. I think he's going to make a play with his legs, whether it's running for a long touchdown or just escaping pressure and hitting Mario Craver or Casey Concepcion in open space, and they're going to house a long play, and that's going to be the difference in the game.
Yeah, I could see that for sure. It does feel like A&M has the explosive play in there once or twice in this game where they're going to be able to get something that maybe spins the edge between this, where Miami's going to try and play it. Like, I just don't know what the margin of error for Miami feels pretty slim. Now, granted, A&M has just all season long been all margin of error. Where they just completely screw up, and like the South Carolina game is your best example of it, but where they've had it where they just don't play well for a little bit and then still win. So they've been able to do that all season, except for when they played Texas. Miami's watched that game 100 times now to figure out everything they do. And then they realize they don't have Trey Wisner. That's really it. Trey Wisner, the rivalry killer there at Texas, just is able to go in there and get those done. All right, Matt, let's do our meathead of the day here. This is just a fun one. I think a lot of people have seen it. Kirby Smart wants to build this kid a statue. But you got to love teaching your kids right about college football. If you can't tell, that is a class singing Rocky Top, and the Georgia Bulldog fan in the back is saying no, and he refuses to sing, Matt. Singing Rocky Top, Tennessee, that there's a little kid in the back shaking his head, looking like a young Kirby Smart, shaking his head just like, no, not singing Rocky Top, Tennessee. Not happening. Not for this Georgia Bulldog. And I just love it. It is so great. How adamant he is about loving his team. And I'm like, I love that from a kid. Doesn't seem like he's not mean. He's just sitting there in his Georgia shirt saying no.
That kid's going places. That kid sticks by his principles. He is a little bit stubborn, but damn it if I don't respect him, Patrick. That kid is going to be a star.
Apparently,
that kid might be the next Kirby Smart. We don't know. He's got the haircut.
Exactly. Apparently, Kirby said today that he would like to build a statue for this kid outside the stadium.
He should.
What identifies? So I would not be surprised if this kid is not in attendance for Georgia's next playoff game. Would not surprise me one bit to put him in the stands and they cut over to him in the crowd and he's just saying no.
That kid is going to land a major NIL deal before he even gets to middle school.
Wait, is he going to be like the boombox guy?
He is. He's going to get like $1 million NIL deal from some Georgia dealership or Athens company. And it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I just love that one. I thought on a Friday we'd end on a happy note with just a football fan kid. Hey, look, those Christmas concerts already, if your kid ain't in them, they're not very good. If your kid's in them, the best thing you've ever seen. But if you have not great. Yeah, Matt, we got a lot of good football to watch this weekend. We're going to come back next week. We've only got Monday and Tuesday, so we're going to hit it hard on Monday and Tuesday, wrapping it up, talking about how our predictions went, how the group of 5 shouldn't have been in there. And we knew that the whole time, and everybody knew that, yet somehow 2 group of 5 teams are in there. We will get into all of that. It's going to be a fun one next week, man.
It is, dogs.
Hey, that'll be a fun one to watch as well. Have they played Georgia this year, or they played Alabama this year?
They played Georgia. They were beating them the whole game and then blew it in the fourth quarter and lost by a score.
So Ole Miss has a path where they played 2 games they've played this season already in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Who seeded this crap? Come on, guys. All right.
Not me.
We're going to get out of here. Have a great weekend, everybody. Remember to be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean, and we'll see you right back here on Monday for more from Open Gym.